Welcome, everybody. I'm just sharing it out. We'll get started in just a second.
When you're born into a fire, let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They want to let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping now. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Defiant Discourse podcast. I guess, since we couldn't have another cold beer confessional today, we got to do the Defiant Discourse podcast. And if we have to do the Defiant Discourse podcast, that means we can't do it without Sage. What's up, Sage? How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, brother?
I've been better.
Oh, Lord.
I was actually better just a few minutes ago, right before you appeared on screen. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Don't threaten me with a good time, buddy. So Sage, before we got started, it seems like, now I don't know if this is true or not, but I was listening to some insight into. I called a couple guys I know that work at the FBI. One of them is semi-vice president of the actual powers of the Axis government within Florida, and somebody was telling me that they think that Russia might invade Ukraine.
You got that intel also?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think something about hunting down Nazis. Is that what they said?
I was just shown that. So I actually, for some reason, I was discharged early from somebody's telegram. I wasn't allowed to do my full service in his telegram. I was discharged early, so I didn't see that. But
is that why they call you sometimes Sage? Is you just there sometime, but you're not there all the time?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess that must be what it is. But yeah, so I guess Mr. B Train is now hunting down Nazis, I guess, with Captain America and all this other shit. Because I actually had, today I'm not having a good day. I'm actually pretty pissed, so I plan to enlighten up a bunch of people.
No.
But, yeah, I know. This is going to turn into the Defiant Discord podcast is going to end up being a Defiant Discord Sage.
You want me to tell you how to deal with stress levels, and how to get past all this internet drama and shit? Drugs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Street drugs, recreational drugs, prescription drugs, drugs, roofies, uppers, downers, in-betweeners, whatever you need.
Yeah. So, some of the stuff that's being said by some of the morons, let's just say Phil, Jeff B, and some of the other stuff is getting to the point that it's the complete ignorance is amazing. It's just absolutely amazing.
Native Voice just said all those Nazis over there in Ukraine, especially their Jewish president, shaking my head. Yeah, they claim that. So they claim that because Trump said, if I was Putin, I would wait till after the Olympics, which is basically what everybody in the world was saying. Even Xi Jinping asked him to wait till after the Olympics, even though they're now denying it. That was basically well known. They're saying, oh, he's listening to Trump, so Trump's giving the orders. We're over there hunting down the deep state cabal, blah, 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 Phil and Jeff B and all these people. I never thought I'd see a time. You have a really interesting clip I want you to play. The same clip, you can just play the audio, but that you played me earlier. The same people, I never thought I would see these people cheering on Russia taking over another country. What the fuck has happened to our... You remember the Cold War, right? And even after the Cold War, Tensions were high. Russia was always the bad guy. The miracle on ice. Like, what the fuck happened that we're cheering on Russia? That is the Q aligned right wing stance. Is that Russia's doing a good job?
Yeah, it is a and this is where like people like Phil and Phil and anybody that's a Phil fan, please tell Phil to grow a set and meet me any place he wants to meet me in a debate, anywhere at all. Because here's what I'm going to do if he doesn't. And I've already reached out to some people. I'm going to start playing his clips. I've got a psychiatrist that's going to watch some of his clips, and we're going to dive into the type of person he is, a medical psychiatrist. I've got an MD, and we're going to I'm going to watch some of his clips, and we're going to dive into what, some of his clips and some of the things that he does from professional people, actual, like I said, MDs and psychiatrists, that we're going to kind of see what the psychiatrist thinks of him in regards to, in a professional way. So he's got a couple options. Either he can meet me, or if I start coming after him, I'm coming after him from PhD and MD people, to try to watch some of his videos and see what they kind of see. What do you think about that, Phil? I think that would be a great show.
He's already on his heels from the phone call debacle. I think he's pretty upset about that. And now he's over here literally like if hold on, I'll pull up his Telegram. We'll read some of the stuff he's been posting. So his chat is posting some wild stuff about there's a giant mountain over there, and in this mountain is all the tunnels, and Ukraine is now the capital of the cabal, even though it used to be Switzerland, and now it's Ukraine. That's the capital, of course. He's sharing quotes that says "Watch what happens after the Olympics" from Donald Trump. And sharing all these people in his chat saying, "Oh, this is a good thing. Thank God that Putin's finally shutting this down. Oh, he should have done it sooner." This is just crazy. This is crazy that people are cheering this on.
Let me play my clip. It's about a minute long. Some people probably heard it, but I want people to hear this. I have friends in Ukraine. I work with people in Ukraine in regards to being a freight broker. I work with them in regards to moving some freight. And I've been, friends with these guys for about 2 years. And I call them every day through Telegram. So I called him this morning, and we were talking. And this is the last minute of the clip.
Yeah. So I don't know what you're hearing, but they're they're attacking the whole Ukraine. And they're trying to say that they are here not for the regular people,
civilians
that are not military or something, but once they're gonna kill all the military, what's the next move? Because that's already tanks. They already passed more than half of positions that they had on the borders with tanks and with troops. And this is a fact. They're going into Ukraine and they're killing everyone who's making them any defense. So what's the next move?
Yeah. So what is your military doing? Are they going?
They're defending us, obviously, but since Russia is multiple times bigger than, you hear that?
That's crazy, dude.
That was the phone call. And let me explain what was going on there. Now, hang on. I got to turn this off here before we get in trouble. All right. What happened was he is at the Capitol. He's about 5 miles from the Capitol in Ukraine. And what he could, you might not have been able to hear this, but when you have headphones, you can hear it. That was low flying aircraft and kilos flying overhead. And they thought they were coming to attack the Capitol, which they would have been hit. And everybody started screaming, and then they went and attacked the military base about 10 miles from them, and they took over the military airport near the Capitol. They're terrified. The people there are scared. I'm talking to him nonstop, and he sent me a clip, and it's in Russian. I can, but you can't understand it. That this girl and her mom went to the store, and her mom was killed on the way back. This is not a good thing. Russia coming in is not a good thing. Ukraine doesn't want this. The people don't want that. They're terrified of what they're going to do. This guy, he hasn't slept. Go ahead.
Just to be clear, they were on a bombing run. It just wasn't where he was at. They were going for the airport. The problem, they were strategically trying to hit, which we always know that there's civilian casualties. There's no such thing as like a clean target. It just doesn't happen. But they were coming in to bomb the airport, which he's like 10 miles away from it or something, right? And 10 miles is nothing when you've got a jet overhead going at a few hundred miles an hour.
Right, low flying, staying low, coming into this airport. You know what I'm saying? To hit that, it was low flying, and that's why he said, "Do you hear that? Do you hear that?" And here they are all screaming because here they see 5 helos and jets flying.
But he is okay, right?
Yeah, he is. I've been texting him, but now they're telling him you can't leave. Come get a gun. They're now telling everybody in Ukraine that you're all required to protect the country. Come here and get guns. Pick the gun. That's what they're literally telling the civilians in Ukraine now. You're not leaving. If you're a male, come get a gun. Defend the country. That's literally what they're doing. And it is not a good situation there. And I've been friends with him for 2 years. I mean, I can hear it when I talk to him on the phone that he's terrified. He's of the age that he was going to have to grab a gun and he's going to go and have to defend the country, or he's going to have to stay and hide in the house.
Right.
I mean, this is where they're at.
I wanted to grab. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to grab a screenshot real quick. I was going to tell you to keep talking because I was looking for this.
Yeah. And this is where I have a problem with this, because you now have Phil Galuski, who basically dropped something saying, get them all, Vlad,
yeah.
And I literally want him on the show because I literally want to debate him to the point that and show his. It is a point that the people that are saying this stuff that think it's good for Russia to start taking these countries, it's not. It's not good. Basically, here's what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen with sanctions. And I talked to Jeff about this, and this is what they're telling. They're already telling the Ukraine people this. Russia's going to come in. They're going to take over the government.
Sorry, that was my bad.
Once they take over the government, they're going to put their people in place, and then they're going to take back. They're going to give Crimea back to Ukraine and give the other places back to Ukraine. But basically, Russia is going to be occupying Ukraine. Now, I'm going to tell you something about occupations. Japan occupied China and Korea. The last thing you want is to be occupied by Russia and stuff. And this is the situation this is the real situation. So everybody that's on here saying, oh, this is a part of this, is a part of this, part of this. Any one of you, I will pay for your ticket to Ukraine. I will absolutely guarantee your flight into Ukraine, even if I got to smuggle you in, and you can go see what it's really like. Because I'm talking to real people on the ground, friends of mine, who are terrified, who are dying. People are dying over there as Russia comes in and takes over Ukraine. If you think Trump, go get him, Tiger, take it all over. Let me tell you where Trump can go.
I have some family members in Europe, and they can't even feel the tension rising in Europe because, I mean, Ukraine, then Poland, then Germany. I mean, like it's not a far step for an army as mobile as the Russian army or the United States Army or anywhere else, and we're on the verge of the Chinese thing. Here's the post I was looking for. Let me read this to you. It says, under cover of war, much is possible. For the past few weeks, I have written articles and spoke on video about this. It's my theory, and here are the facts or bullet points as to why they believe this. They have discovered a massive tunnel system in Ukraine. The Biden family had extensive dealings with Ukraine, possibly even involved in human trafficking. Israel has been involved in Ukraine for a long time. Israel is run by the Anunnaki, the group that was before the Illuminati. I have been saying this for a long time based on evidence I have gathered. The command and control center for the Anunnaki is underground in Israel and Dimona, their nuclear power plant. Putin is not talking to Biden, who is a clone, but instead he's talking to Trump. I believe this war is a cover for operations, in part to go into the tunnels. There is a mountain in Ukraine where the Illuminati believe the devil actually lives. The devil is Illuminati code for what would be a reptilian nest. And that's what they're sharing around on some of these chat groups. That was actually out of the Stony Stone chat group.
If I were to tell that to the people in Ukraine, to the friends that I know in Ukraine that are watching bombs explode and jets flying over and people getting killed to go to the store, they would laugh at you. They're at a point now where it's almost like, what planet are you from, moron? I mean, somebody came in the chat and said, I think it was earlier in my chat when I started doing this, said, "Oh, this is CGI. They're actually trying to protect paperwork and the cover up from the." I'm like, are you stupid? Are you stupid? You seriously think they're going to bomb a country to cover up paperwork? Like it can't be emailed? Like it can't be on a USB? What are you? Where are you from? What are you, 4 years old? What do you think this is, Watergate and they're shredding papers, you moron? You think that's where they're holding all this stuff? And it's not sent by what is wrong with you?
They're crazy, dude. They're crazy.
I have never seen a decline in intelligence as fast as people have declined in intelligence as they have now. It is absolutely mind-boggling to me. The point of actual intelligence is gone. Gone.
Here's a comment off a Liberty Warrior video. Now, remember, Liberty Warrior claims to be middle of the road, just asking questions, blah, blah, blah. And I've told you before, sometimes I personally believe, this is not a statement of fact, I personally believe that people like Liberty Warrior and the people like him, that broadcast like him, that pretend to be just barely dipping their feet into the Q nonsense are the most dangerous, because they're the ones you're not going to be fooled by. You're not going to come in without any knowledge and be fooled by a full-blown Q person that's screaming out crazy shit. But the people that are like the gatekeepers that are just dipping their toes into it just slightly get you looking at other videos until you are full-blown. This is a comment under Liberty Warrior's video. It says, "It's not an invasion. Putin and the alliance, white hats, are cleaning out and rounding up the rest of the cabal there. Biden's child trafficking and Adrena investments are being destroyed. The end is coming near." Like, what the fuck, dude? What is going on?
Dude, unfortunately, you have, who I truly believe, people like Phil and the Jeff B's, who are just absolutely destroying intelligence. They literally, and this is why, like I said, Phil, you think you got called out before? I am literally gonna find.
Hold on, just a second. We can't do replays. Damn it. Apparently, Phil just apologized to me on his live stream. His hater chat is going wild. Way to go, Will. Did your lawyer call Phil? What's he talking about? He's apologizing to you. He shouldn't have threatened you. He's apologizing again. I don't know what's going on, but I can't do anything. I can't do anything until it's over. I can't replay.
I messaged Phil before this, and I'm calling you out. But I am literally, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I know I talked to the guy from Columbia, the Columbia University guy. He's basically he's in mental health from Columbia University. I asked him to come on and do this, and he said he would absolutely do this. He'd have a great time doing that. I will bring psychiatrists on. I will bring MDs on. I will bring people on. I will take your videos, and we will see exactly your mental state from professional people. I swear I'll bring it. If I got to start reaching out to the people you say, if I got to reach out to Trump over and over again, I will reach out to him to see if he knows who you are. I will do it. I'm just that guy. But I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to reach out to whoever I possibly can to bring them on, and we'll watch your videos and see if any of the stuff that you're saying is real.
Sure. I'm not a fan of war. It kind of fucked me up pretty bad. But the problem is, there may come a time. I'm also not going to pull like a Tim Pool came out today and said, no way, there's no reason that we should ever go to war. No questions asked. We're not doing it. Not war with Russia. But we should never do this. There is a reason, and that is if first of all, it's humanitarian. So if they start eliminating people, right? We got to stand in and say something. Or what if they keep expanding? Like I said, what if they go for Poland? What if they get up against the Polish border and just start intruding in Poland? Then we're in Germany. Poland borders Germany. I think he's honestly going to use this to break up NATO. NATO's been weak for a long time. Besides the British, the UK forces, and the American forces, there's not a lot of strength there. We triple the amount of men, aircraft, weaponry, vehicles that we send to every other nation combined, and we don't look very strong right now.
Let me run this by you. What if he's not breaking up NATO? What if he puts his people in power in Ukraine and then joins NATO?
I don't think they'll let him after he takes power. I don't think they'll. I think it'll be off the table. Just because they'll never be able to trust him. Like they'll never be able to trust it again. And Ukraine Ukraine was like that before, and so was Crimea, or just, Crimea is now. But even Jeff talked about this last time we had him on, not Jeff B, but your Jeff, about how it used to be back in the day. They were all because I asked him, I said, is there any worry that they're just, Russian agents and they're just pretending to be Ukrainian, and he's like, oh, that's the way it used to be, but not now. They really try to take up for us. They really try to look out for us, do this, do that. But I think that's what it's going to be, is a false go. It's going to be Russia number 2 over there. And they're going to be like, oh, no, that's Ukraine. No, that's Ukraine. Right. That's Crimea. That's not Russia.
Right, exactly. And that's the plan. That's the whole plan. That's what he's going to do. And like I said, and I had this, I was on Prepper Tribe earlier for like 72 hours, it felt like. No, it was good. We had a good time, but we were like 3 hours because we were waiting for Biden to have his speech and say his stupidity. And that was just a train wreck when he, was speaking. And the issue is that at what point do we give him weapons, we give him this, we know this is happening, and we can protect NATO. And I know it's a fine line because you don't want to draw your people into a war, right? You don't want to, as United States, as a president, you can't say, let's just go in there and do this, because you're also putting your people at risk, right? You have to make, so it has to be smart decisions. And I just believe that, okay, if you knew this was going to happen, I want everybody to understand the importance of this. If Russia's doing this, we are losing our stance as a global power. It's gone. Okay? Because we told Russia, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And they go in and they do this. The United States is no longer looked at as a superior power. They have basically, it's gone. All right. Once this happens, we will look as no longer the superpower, no longer the dominant country. We have been basically called out and technically bitch slapped. All right, that's gone.
We don't look good.
And this is a huge deal. This is a very big deal, because once other countries say, well, you know what, United States, you're really not that big of a deal anymore, we are going to lose such leverage in the world as a global in global scale of things that it's going to be devastating to all of us. It's going to be devastating to everything, every trade deal, everything.
Real quick, chat. NATO very rarely has command over U.S. troops. Usually, almost every time I've ever been on anything, NATO sets the rules of engagement, and then the U.S. has command of whatever's going on. I've seen silly things like food deliveries and box drops and stuff like that, where someone else was taking over. NATO somebody said, I don't like the idea of NATO having command over U.S. troops. They very rarely, if ever, do. It's usually the opposite. It's usually a U.S. operation with like 4 guys that are from other countries. I've done some NATO stuff. They were over in Iraq when we were there. They had some French guys. They were running around their blue vehicles.
This was it right here. This one, sorry, this was the one that was flying over. Yeah, this was where Jeff was at.
That's why I was playing it. But yeah, they're rarely in charge, if ever.
Yeah. And this is the issue. And I know everybody's like, oh, we lost a long time ago. We did, but this kind of makes it official. When countries like Russia, we say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And they're like, yeah, I don't think so. This makes it basically, we're done. We're not in charge. It doesn't matter anymore. And I'm sorry, but if Mr. T, this is what you guys all think Mr. T wanted, was these people to go through this. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah,
because I'm listening. Go ahead.
I warned my chat a long time ago. I said, you're not going to believe it when I say it, but these people are literally, because they were talking about how they'd be a fake nuclear bomb. They was talking about how they'd be a fake invasion of the U.S., and they were talking about how there'd be a fake. I told you guys that these Q people were literally going to be cheering on our demise in World War III. They're begging for a nuclear scare because they don't think it's real. These people are cheering it on while it's happening, and then claiming to be the real patriots, the real Americans, the real supporters, the real conservatives. How can you be that while you're literally begging for us to be wiped off the face of the earth or mutual destruction at best?
Right. And this is what I talked about with that Ivy League doctor, Phil, Ivy League school doctor that I'm going to bring on. This is what I talked about with him. And he's like, oh yeah, it's bad. And I want to say, well, let me show you some of the leaders. Let me show you some of the people spreading it. And I want you to watch these videos, and I want you to take it from a professional doctor point of view. And he's like, okay, game on. I mean, not my word, but this is what I'm talking about. We have lost our minds. People are at a point now where they have no idea what war's like. They have no idea what it's going to be when this stuff happens. And they are cheering this stuff on. They are cheering strikes. They are cheering countries to do this stuff. And it's like, what in the hell happened to this country? What happened to people?
I couldn't. I can't believe that they're cheering on, begging for it. Like this craziest thing I've ever seen.
It is. Like I said, and people are like, "Oh, this guy Trump's." He's not. He's not in charge. He's not in charge. And I'm talking to Jeff all day, and I think I'm doing this because I can actually hear the Jeff is terrified. He's terrified of losing his girlfriend, his sisters, his brothers, his family, and this is something that they expected us to protect them. I mean, there was a treaty, for us to protect them when we took our nuclear weapons. They expected help from the West. They expected something, and they're getting nothing. And people are dying. And it might not be, hundreds of thousands yet, but they're telling you cannot leave the country. I mean, some of his last stuff was basically you cannot leave because I'm like, dude, get on a plane. Get out of there if you can. He's like, well, I can't leave now.
You need money, send money, a ticket, something. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I'm like, tell me what I got to do. I mean, you know what I mean? And he's like, that we can't leave. We're being told we can't leave. We're being told to come get guns. I'm like, because I even said we have to stand up for our country. I'm like, do you even have a gun? He's like, no. I'm like, are they giving you guns? He's like, yes. Come get guns.
I love when people come in and make a fucking straw man argument. When has anybody said it's our job to protect them? There's a time, I literally just said this, there's a time where there's no other option. If they're pushing on Poland and headed for Germany, that's no other option. If they're lining up civilians in the street and burying them in mass graves, there's no other option. We have to do something. The world has to do something. But when no one makes the argument that it's our job for us to protect them, and you come and chat and shout, it's not our job to protect them. Who looks silly here? Like, I don't understand.
And here's the problem I have with that, right? Here's the problem I have with that. We have no problem selling them guns. We have no problem selling them arms. We have no problem selling them military equipment to fight. We have no problem saying, hey, give up your nuclear weapons. Why don't you look up the Budapest Memorandum, where we basically said, give up your nuclear weapons, Ukraine, turn them in, and we will protect you. Do you think
we promised to defend them if they turned in? We signed a treaty with them and promised to defend them from any foreign country if they gave up their nuclear weapons. How about how about I break it down for me? How about I break your ass out of the fucking chat, motherfucker? Kick rocks.
What do you say? Who is it? Drop the link. Bring the bitch up. Man, I mean, pull up a link. Budapest Memorandum. They were the third largest nuclear power. And they're like, you got to give up your stuff. Well, and they're like, well, who's going to protect us? Okay.
So after the Soviet Union split, they did a lot of their testing and a lot of their laboratories were in Ukraine. So when they split, everybody kept what they had. So there was also a big arms race. There was a lot of people selling like Russian goods and assets and military weaponry and blah, blah, blah. And all that was because the way it split, all these countries got to keep a hold of it. If you ever seen... there's a movie called Lord of War. And it's not based on a true story. It's a fictional movie, but it was put out there. Some of the stuff in it is actually true. So when the Soviet Union broke up, it was all these tiny countries. Their people were starving to death, and they had stacks and stacks and stacks of armored personnel carriers and helos and AKs and this and that. So they started dropping that shit everywhere and selling it anywhere they could. But Ukraine ended up with most of the nuclear weapons. So when we convinced them, they were the third largest holder of nuclear weapons on the planet. And when we convinced them to get rid of them, we said we'll protect you. And now what are we going to do? Like, we told them we would. Now what? We're just going to say fuck it. We're out.
Right. And this is the issue. And it's like what people have to understand is, and like I said, I know it's a situation where we got to make a decision, but we have no problem being offensive and going into countries that might not want to be democracies, Iraq and Afghanistan and things like that. But then when you have one that's a democracy, that's basically saying, hey, you guys said you protect us and we're supposed to be, you're supposed to be helping us. And then we're like, well, you're not part of NATO, so we really can't do anything. And my thought process was, look, if you knew this was coming, why didn't you start doing, hey, we're going to start doing drill? I would have put soldiers in there and just said, well, we got soldiers in there now. We're doing drills.
Sure.
We're some way to stop this. And the issue is that you, as a country, what is that? And I know it's not our job to protect. Okay, so what happens with Taiwan? We're supposed to protect Taiwan also. What happens when they take Taiwan? Understand that. I'm going to break this down. In the world, there is leverage. Okay, the United States' leverage as a superpower is, one, it's money, where all money's going to crap. Two, it was our military. Three, it was our intellectual property. Well, we give all that up, or they steal it. And four, it's our pharmaceutical dominance. And that was a part of some of the protectionary things that they were sticking in your arms. Pharmaceutical dominance. We give it to countries for free, so they were dependent upon our pharmaceuticals. Well, the other superpower we have as a military is our military. So if our military is no longer useful and we're not coming to anybody's aid, then what the hell do they need us for? What reason would you possibly want to side with the U.S. on specific things at the EU and anything else? Like, what is the U.S. going to give you if they don't have anything to offer? Nothing. But if I go to China,
we don't have any power in our sanctions either. The sanctions are useless against Russia or China. Like they might hurt them slow. Like, there's just not enough power in a sanction anymore. It's just not for those countries. It would be different if we were sanctioning off somebody in the Middle East or some third world country that we provide most of. These countries are self-sufficient, especially when you add in the other one, that China is aligned with Russia and Russia is aligned with China. They don't need our shit. They don't care about our sanctions. They do what they want, and then they'll negotiate later.
But what we didn't do, and here's the problem with sanctions. Sanctions eventually go down and affect the people of the country. Those are the ultimate people paying for those sanctions. I mean, you heard Biden, we're going to sanction all your rich people. I mean, he literally said it in his speech that the citizens of Russia are going to be affected by sanctions, and they're going to know that it was done because of Putin. So you're literally punishing the people in the country. That's who you're punishing, right? That's how sanctions work. And they don't work right away. Now, sanctions that do affect the government is oil. Because you need oil for boats, you need oil for choppers, because you need fuel, right? We didn't sanction their oil. So all the sanctions that we did affect their money and everything else. Who does it affect? Their civilians. You think their civilians are going to rise up and take down the Russian military? And again, I will buy tickets for that also. Anybody looking to help out, take down Russia from inside. Yeah, anybody wants to send like Antifa type people to Russia? I got some tickets if they want to try that over there. Good luck.
I don't know where it's going to end up, but it's not going to be good. I get more and more blackpilled every day, especially so Sage and I were talking about this offline before we came on. You remember when all the memes started, and before the Q stuff even started, but it was just like the memes, and it was the false claims and the false news stories about this happened, that happened, clones and this and that. And a lot of them were coming from like Russian bot farms. And since then, they've taken an entire fucking group of our population and convinced them that there's a whole separate narrative. And they've got these leaders like Phil are falling for it and then spreading it to their communities. And there's a whole group of people begging for this and saying Russia's in the right. They're going after the cabal. They're going to get the cabal out of here. I never thought I'd see anything like this. I thought it was, when the news was talking about it, I thought it was overinflated. I thought they were hyping it up for no reason. That they were making some of it up, that the bot farms weren't. There was a lot of people sharing memes that weren't bot farms. I shared memes. I thought they were funny, but there was a lot coming from the bot farms, and there's a whole brainwashing campaign that worked. The stupidest campaign that worked.
I know. It's amazing. It's amazing. And again, I'm just going to point that the ability for people to do any type of critical thinking, for them to do any type of research, for them to do any type of understanding, and then when you present them legitimate evidence, legitimate receipts, legitimate proof, they are so brainwashed and locked in that they're done. There was a Russian that did it. I can't remember his name. That he was that did the subversion. Is that what it was called? Basically, that they lock you into this to the point that they could be kicking you right into the camps, and you still don't believe it. You still don't believe it. I mean, it is to me. It's depressing. To me, it's depressing to see grown adults who truly can't process information, or even process when they are given correct information. They can't go out and either seek their own information. They can't process it. It can't be real. It cannot be real. It's got to be this. Trump's in charge, the cabal, the white hats, the black hats, and it's okay. It's all part of the movie. Just sit back and wait for the credits. And the issue is to me, it's depressing. It's depressing to see where our country's intelligence has gone. And I think maybe because I work so much with some other countries, that when I talk to people in Korea and was talking, I mean, you talk to Jeff, for somebody who's in another country, he's pretty highly educated in things, right?
Sure.
And then I talk to people in Korea, and I talk to these people, and it's just like, I'm not gonna lie. I'll come back here and I'll see some of the stuff that's going on with Phil and on some of these other channels, and I'm like, what the hell happened? What's in the water? What is going on? And it's, to me, it's please don't. And then I think to myself, please don't have kids. And then I find out they do have kids, and it's like, oh my God, what happened?
It's definitely a big deal. And then I think it's going to spread to China and Taiwan. Then we've stopped our electronics from coming in, and basically a quarter of the fucking earth is aligned against us. Then NATO's going to fall. We've lost our supremacy. We've lost anybody's respect. Like I don't see how the people that are saying, oh, fuck that, we protect our own people. How do you see this ending good? Like how do you see this coming out and this being good for us, or just not bad for us? It's going to be bad for us. It already is bad for us. I don't understand where y'all are coming from. That's like, we don't need to do anything. Not if they're even killing people in the street. Not if they take the whole country over. Not if they take fucking Poland. Not if they move into Germany. When's the line? There has to be a line somewhere. We can't just sit here and just wait to be eliminated as they take over the whole world. I don't know.
Yeah, we're talking tomorrow. Me and Will are doing an interview with the PhD Dr. Anthony. He also writes for the Epoch Times, and we've done an interview with him before on China. Well, he reached out to me today and said, hey, you want to do another interview? I'd like to talk about how this is all going to affect everything from logistics, and it's also going to make China stronger. So we're going to do an interview tomorrow about that. And this is from a PhD doctor. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more to this than just how this is going to, this is going to affect the prices of goods. This is going to affect shipping. This is going to affect logistics. This is going to affect, once we lose, I think what people understand is once we lose who we are as a global superpower, where countries look at us and be like, well, what? Think about this. I want you to sit down and think about this. You're running your own country, and you now look to see who you're going to team up with and what countries you're going to team up with. You're going to look at our country and say, what? Because I would look at this country and say, well, they don't have great leadership. Their money's going to crap because they're printing 18,000 things. It's not worth anything. Their military isn't, doing that great. Their intellectual property, well, we can just steal that, or they'll just give it to us because they're stupid. Their pharmaceuticals are being produced in other countries too, so we don't need that. What the hell does this country have for people to come to us and say America is great because of this.
Oh yeah, we want to be friends.
Not people, not poor people, not third world people. Because I'll tell you what, I don't see a lot of first world people like Koreans. They'll come here and get the education, then they move back. Why wouldn't they stay? So this is basically the issue.
Yeah, I don't know how we come out of this any better than when we started. Probably much worse. I'm not excited about war either, but there has to be a line somewhere. We do have standing treaties with them. If we're breaking treaties, who breaks treaties with us? What happens when they do come to our homeland? What happens when they take over a closer ally? What happens if they go for Germany? What happens if they cut off Germany's oil? What if they have any of that? Babe, that's not the real Jeff B. I don't know why you're trying to antagonize someone that's trolling you. It's not the real Jeff B. It's been said 1,000 times in chat. It's not him. He doesn't show up here. He hides on his Telegram channel and Travis's train wreck or whatever they call it.
The only time Jeff B goes on is, and this is another thing too. The only time Jeff B goes on is if he goes on Travis, and then they run their mouth about me, and then when I ask to come in and defend myself, they don't let me in.
They were making a point.
Yeah.
Travis's excuse for not letting you in that night was because he thought they were making a point and you would interrupt it. That was also his excuse last night for muting Miss Blue Moon, who was defending herself. And he muted her when she interrupted somebody, but never interrupted her or never muted anybody else when she was getting cussed like a dog, telling her to answer the fucking question or calling her a cancer grifter because he thought that those people were making good points and he didn't like her points. So the thing they accused us of doing in the future, they had no way of knowing the things that they said, oh, you'll just mute people you don't like. They would literally do it and then accuse us of it.
Well, here's what happened. Here's what happened with Travis. And Travis used to, perfect example, right? Travis's channel used to be the open bar, right? It was the open bar. You could show up, not that he was drinking, but you could show up and talk about whatever you want. It was like a bar, right? People would talk about this, they talk about that. You could say this, you can say that. And then it turned into the Q bar. And so everybody from Q was over there, and it was just, hey, if you want to hear about this stuff, show up at our bar. And they were all talking about that. Well, then for some odd reason, he wanted to be like us. He wanted to change and he wanted to be intelligent, right? And somebody, they go over there and next thing you know, he's trying to be intelligent and share information and do all this other stuff. And unfortunately, it's you can't turn the corner bar into a country club sometimes, right? If you're going to have to kick out the bar people to bring the country club people in, and unfortunately he knows no country club people. So he's got the bar scene and he's trying to convince these bar scene people to be a country club and wear suits and ties and be this and this, and he just can't do it. And this is where people are getting pissed off because people want that open bar. They want the old, I want to say whatever I want to say, but he's finding out that, I probably shouldn't have them say whatever they want to say. And that's kind of how I see what's going on over there. And then when people want to leave, and wait a second, and I have a question, and I'm not sure. You taught Travis how to do some live streaming and OBS and stuff like that, correct?
Yeah, well, not really OBS, just about StreamYard. Like that's all he could do at the time. He's doing it on his phone, but yeah, he asked me how to stream. I told him what to download, and then he probably messaged me 10, 20 times asking me, "What's this? What's that?" And I answered him, and he started streaming.
And then he left you, and then he's back. Then he doesn't like you.
Yeah.
And isn't that exactly what David did?
Exactly, to the T.
Yeah. So these guys, so David wants to go over and have it because he doesn't like the panel. And next thing you know, it's like now everybody's flipping out because it's like, I don't want to be there anymore. And David started doing his own thing. And now Travis is flipping out because David's doing a channel at the same time Travis is. But then Travis is doing the same thing, a channel the same time Liberty Warrior's going on. So did they all break up?
He and Liberty Warrior are no longer friends. They are ex-best friend, ex-BFFs, I think's the way he described it. No longer beefus.
They're just imploding over there. And like I said, it's unfortunate, but I think all he would have to say is, Sage and Will were right, or Will and Sage were right, because pretty much he's finding out we were. And then he's trying to change because he's, figured this out, and the people that were in there are like, well, you can't change, you have to do this.
Who is the fucking person in chat advertising for Occupy the Getty? Are you serious? The fuck out of here.
I didn't even see that. I think I don't read the chat.
Somebody
I just think it's funny because right now you have, you know what it is? It's over there. It's a competition to see whose craziest ideas are crazy. I mean, you have crazies arguing with crazies. It's a crazy competition over there. Right? I mean, do you see it? I mean, it literally is multiple crazy people arguing about who's crazier than who. That's how I see it over there.
The biggest issue I see over there is, one, when we couldn't even cover his show because of personal stories they started sharing about other people.
Oh.
I think Paul has now been kicked out of his home. He's now moving and single. And then a person in rehab does not need to be on the internet fighting with fucking strangers. She's replacing another addiction, and she's using it to she's in rehab. Doesn't need to be on the fucking internet fighting with people, fighting your battles, and saying, "Oh, she's hot. She likes to get hot sometimes." Yeah, she likes to yell. That doesn't mean anything. Everybody can yell.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Motion is an addict who's been sober for 20 years. Okay, so this isn't coming from some place that I have no idea. Trust me. What she made, like I said, that argument and stuff that she's doing is because of one, like you said, one addiction for another, and it's not healthy. That's not how it's. Unfortunately, it's not how it's done, and I don't see that going well.
Yeah, it's not going to end well. Like they can't end well. But
I can tell you stories. You know, real quick, I can tell you stories that, you know, Motion has gone back me of road rage situations that when she tried to replace it with that she got out of the car, and the next thing you know, she's reaching through the window choking people back, you know, 20, 30 years ago. So it is not something that is a good situation to exchange it with. It can get you in even more trouble.
By the way, they called Miss Blue Moon a cancer grifter last night. A cancer grifter because she's fucking taking all our money, you know, to buy wigs and pay her power bill and drive to her chemo. Such a grifter. I want my wig back, Miss Blue Moon. Jerk it, snatch it up off your head. Like, what the fuck are they even talking about? Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, Travis is the one who took donations to go on a fucking drunken bender in North Carolina and eat at a fucking steakhouse. Like, what the fuck?
Right. I mean, once you've reached that point of your, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know we've had, you know, additional people like, you know, Libert Lady and stuff like that say that, you know, oh, you guys are evil, you guys are bullies, you guys are this. I'm going to hate to break it to you, but tell me what that channel was that you were on last night, Libert Lady, because she was on that one, wasn't it? She was on that one.
So yeah, I didn't think I knew who she was, but as soon as I saw that profile picture, they told me in chat it's the same one. I've seen that profile picture on that show before. She may have even spoke on the show before. I just didn't know she was affiliated with that show at all until lately.
Yeah. Tell me how that works out when you're on, you know, sitting on a panel of a show that they're lighting somebody up who has cancer and the way that they did. I'm kind of confused.
Don't be mean to Scott McKay, I think is what we need to do.
Yeah, don't be mean to Scott McKay. And I think this is where, like I said, and, you know, if this was all for show, well, that's even worse. If they did this to, you know, for some type of show or some type of clicks or some type of thing, that's even more pathetic, to be completely honest. That's Absolutely. Embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? And you know, because some people were saying, oh, this is fake. This is for this. But if they did this for show or to do something, that's one of the most embarrassing. That's pretty embarrassing. If that's what that was for, and if it was real, wow, that's even. So either way, it's bad.
It was definitely something special. I don't know. Even David went back to his channel. I heard him talking earlier that he was excited to see me cover it, which I guess we may cover it. I'm not even sure yet, but damn, I don't. That's rough.
They eat us for dinner. Sorry, they are fucking piranhas.
I hereby declare Rhino Nation is a good guy, and I like him. Let the decree go forth into all YouTube land. Liberate Sherbert with the 6-packs. Thank you very much for the donation. I'm not sure if I'm ready to go that far yet, but thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. For the donation and support.
Right, and it's one of those things that it's like the imploding is happening, right? And this unfortunately is what happens because and this is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff that's happening because you have some people believing that Trump's going to come on Telegram and tell you something, and they're dying to hear that information. And then you have, other people saying, no, this is a bunch of crap, which, whatever it is. And you are now seeing the imploding of Q-tards. You are actually seeing that. And
do you think they'll be standing outside looking in the sky when we get the nuclear bomb sirens going off and the EBS comes out and it's like, please seek shelter immediately. Nuclear fallout can last for up to blah, blah, blah. You think they'll be outside looking for Trump riding on the fucking front of an F-16 or something?
Yeah, that could be it. I mean, that's the next step.
It's part of the movie. Don't shelter. Don't shelter. It's part of the movie.
Yes, you guys stand out there while we shelter. That way you're gone. It's mind-boggling to me. It is legitimately scary as hell. I mean, I don't know if you want to show the thing I gave you, but it is legitimately scary as hell. The mind of these people, the actual breakdown of intelligence. I can't even explain it, and that's impressive for me to not be able to explain something, but it is absolute. It's depressing to see the stupidity for me.
It's something. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something on a new level. It just boggles the mind to think that these people do that.
Trump has literally come out and said, we're going to take the White House back.
Karen paid $20 into the call.
I declare they are all cockwombles.
They're all cockwombles. Thank you very much, Karen, for the $20 donation. Thank you for the donation and the support.
But Trump has literally come out and said, 2024, we're going to take the White House back in 2024. We're coming back. I'm going to run in 2024. He legitimately said,
they eat us for dinner. Sorry, they are fucking piranhas.
Bad Button Line says maybe we can raise a few bucks for Blue Moon. Maybe she can call in. It's so sad. So it should be done. Thank you, Liberate Sherbert. Yeah, I'll send her an email. I don't even know if she knows about this channel, but I'll shoot her an email. And somebody just called in, Sage. I don't know who it was, but I'll grab them. Oh, they left? Oh, they're back. There we go. What's up, man? Q idiot.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
Actually, I'm sick to my stomach.
You reckon?
About all this stuff right now.
Yeah.
I've been trolling some of the Telegram chats, and it's so freaking depressing. I agree with Sage. I'm not sure how to explain it. Only that, they've driven this narrative. The Q idiots have driven this narrative so hard, and it's like they want to get something to manifest,
right?
To make their narrative become reality. But I think what disturbs me the most is the support that we're seeing in these Telegram chats for Putin.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. I really don't know how they got to that. They would support someone like him. He's no different than when Hitler invaded Poland in 1939.
Right.
He knows he can get away with it. He knows that he's just going to keep going and going and going until someone steps up and stops him. But when you've got people in your own country to support what he's doing, it's like you're living in an alternate reality.
Sure.
And Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So there's a major difference in people saying, "Hey, we shouldn't get involved. Like that's not our battle. We shouldn't bother with that. We shouldn't get involved over there. Let's worry about home." And the people who are like, "Yeah, go get them, take them all out." Bill literally had a post that said, "Make sure you get them all, Vlad." Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? That's a little far, don't you think? Nope, not for him.
It's just, you know, I don't know. I was hoping it, but now it has. And even though some of the Q-tards are imploding on themselves, there's still people like Phil and Mike Penny and that whole bunch who have you know, a pretty good following. Not, the one that Phil thinks he has, but there's still, I don't know how many, if it's in the hundreds of thousands or is it in the millions that people believe this stuff. And, it's just scary. It, like I said, it just absolutely makes my stomach to watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Could you imagine the same thing if this North Korea invaded South Korea and they're like, hell yeah, Kim Jong, go get them. Why don't you use some nukes? Like they're trying you, adjust their attitude. Go get it. Like this is blows your mind when you sit back and think about who thought we'd be supporting after like the Cold War, after about the Miracle on Us, after all this stuff that's happened, that we'd have people in our own country, a massive group of conservatives cheering them on.
Yeah, it's I go back to blaming it, a lot of it, the pandemic and people having to isolate. And what did they do? They all got on the,
Sure.
they were looking for something to make sense of what was going on, and a lot of them found this Q garbage, and it became almost like their church, and they so believe it that, and I'm glad that Sage is bringing on somebody from Columbia University,
Sure.
who's a mental health expert, because he'll be able to explain a lot of, I believe, of how this started, what's going to happen, and how can you undo some of these people's thoughts. And Will, you and Sage have actually changed mine, and it's going to take, this started online, and Flynn was always saying, these are our digital soldiers.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're digital soldiers ourselves, but we're trying to turn the narrative back to reality. But you got to keep going. And so I'm not giving up. I mean, I'm going to keep, doing what I can to, of course, support you, keep you, you know, online as much as possible. And I also wanted to ask you, are those glasses working?
They seem to be. I've actually been even wearing them like throughout the day because I thought it can't hurt. I'm always looking at my phone, and they block blue light. I mean, there's blue light that even comes from the sun and artificial lighting, fluorescent bulbs. So I don't always have a headache. I get a headache like once a week, and then
Right.
but I haven't had them since I've had the glasses. So I think they seem to be
That's
working.
awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, listen, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys, and of course all the mods and the cult
Oh yeah.
club that we have. I think what we're doing is very important. And yeah, we can do it with comedy and all that stuff, and we can also be serious about it. And but it's gonna take quite a few of us to rein in those folks,
It seems
even if
that
it's
way.
one at a time. All we have to get enough.
That's right.
Change your minds. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys. Drop out of here. Let somebody else call in.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you calling
but I
in.
just want to do something. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the support.
You bet.
Appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, and the first time I've reached out to me and CanCon talked to him. and I can't remember who else was with us. But basically, he also did the study on the vax. But basically, I just typed what he actually is. He's a research assistant professor at Columbia Med, biomedical informatics. I don't know this stuff. Did you read that? Here, I'll put in the private chat. These words are for you.
I just brought Free Rebel in too. I don't know if he's still around, but he was sitting here. What's up?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, man?
Oh, there he is.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, all this talk about Q, I did some research. I found out who it really is.
Oh yeah, who you think?
Who do you think?
Milo Yiannopoulos.
You think?
That's the first time I've heard that.
He's like, he's sitting around bored. And he's like, let's see what crazy shit I can come up with to make these conservatives jump.
It sounds about crazy enough for it to be him. He was quite the character.
Yeah. Oh, I was watching. I do watch a little bit of LW stuff as much as I can stomach, because you guys talk about them, and watching Mike's show. Sometimes I don't get into some of the video breakdowns you do because I don't know the people, but I do go back and look those people up on YouTube. But it seems like watching LW is like watching CNN sponsored by Silver.
Yeah, I saw that comment. That's actually pretty funny. Especially if you watch his headline hits, he's just ripping off people's articles and reading them, and then going, "I don't know, folks. Here's the next one. Make sure you call in to this Silver company. Tell them that Liberty Warrior Nation sent you." It's a pretty good assessment.
The one thing you can tell that what's the guy that does that show, LW? What's his name? I can't remember.
Mike.
Okay, so that's right. He is Mike. You can tell he's not that smart, because if he wants to make it rich with the way he's got the gift of gab, he needs to go hang out with like Kenneth Copeland or Joel Osteen or somebody like that, TD Jakes, because he'd make a killing in those religious.
Get him a private jet and a private island.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if it'll go that far, but it might work.
My goal with guests is to try to bring people on that are way smarter than me, right? Because I mean, I have no problem with that. Like,
they're easy to find too.
But I do have one serious question for you too, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
With the mess that's going on in Ukraine right now, if Trump had won the election, do you think it still would have popped off?
You want to go first? You can go first.
If Trump would have won the election, I think that it probably wouldn't have, because I think Trump would have held their hands to help them in Ukraine through a more diplomatic manner. So his goal is to get in and install his own government, right? And Trump was already critical of NATO. He doesn't want NATO in his backyard. I think Trump would have helped him diplomatically get into Ukraine and install his own people, and it probably wouldn't have been a war. Now, if Trump couldn't have helped him or didn't help him, I think he probably still would have went for it within the next 4 years that Trump would have been serving. But who knows? What do you think, Sage?
My is if Trump didn't have the Congress behind him, let's say, right? Let's say it was blue instead of red and he couldn't do it. They would two things would have happened. One, you have to understand that Russia and China and places like that will wait him out. They'll wait another 4 years and just plan. So even if it didn't happen, because let's face it, this didn't just happen when Biden hit office. This was obviously some type of plan that was slowly being worked while Trump was in office. Like, believe it or not, it had, this wasn't an instantaneous thing that they're just like, let's go. It was a slow moving process that took a lot of time. So it was obviously happening when he was in office. Now, like I said, so if he did win, and they could have just waited another 4 years.
Isn't this the worst case? So he can last as long as he wants to as well, Putin can. And isn't this the second time? Didn't he take some time off and then come back again? Isn't he leading Russia for the second time now? So he could literally wait 20 years as long as he's still alive.
Right, because they did change it that he can be president forever. And Xi from China did the same thing, that he can stay leader forever. So understand that China had 100-year plan, and they go in increments of 5 years. So that if they have to wait an extra 4 or 5 years to make their things happen, they will. But either way, it was probably something that was still in the process while Trump was in, like it or not. And they just went with it now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much my same opinion, that he would have tried it diplomatically, or
Sure.
Putin would have waited him out until he was out of office.
Right. And that's like, again, and that's where, like I said, Trump, the issue is that either way, it was going to happen. But a lot of people are like, oh, this would have never happened if I was it. That's not true. They would have just said, well, we'll put it off.
Someone in chat said he has Parkinson's. He doesn't have much longer. Well, even when he left, he just put his guy in there. That was like his crony. He was still in charge even when so if he has Parkinson's, he has to, as long as he doesn't die, even if he has to go home and do it, he'll just have his advocate doing it for him.
Right.
All right, guys, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Leave
Yeah,
the
you good, brother.
mic open for other people. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. And Hawkeye brought this up too, but I actually sent this to you earlier. I was fuming in regards to Trump's statements about Ukraine. To me, were mind blowing to me. I cannot believe he said what he said. And even talking to Jeff and talking to them, they were pissed. I mean, Jeff was like, people listen to this guy.
They're not
People
Trump fans.
They're not. They're not at this point with those statements.
Imagine.
And they were, and even somebody got in there and said, well, you should have heard the way he was saying it. And it's like, I talked to Jeff. Jeff's like, I don't care how he's saying it. I don't care if it's a joke. That shouldn't be said even as a joke, that Putin's brilliant and he's doing this and he's doing that. It is, and sometimes you want your leader to be able to say things and not say things. Right?
Even
Like,
just the compliments is condoning his actions.
Right. I wanted Biden to be able to say, when somebody says, hey, what did Putin mean when he said a serious threat? Did he mean a nuclear strike? I don't want Biden to say, oh, I don't know. That's not what you want the president to say on that answer, right? You want him to be able to at least talk to the American people that, look, okay, a serious threat could be a lot of things, but we're not going to let it get that far. You don't want to hear Biden say, well, I'm not going to talk to Putin. What do you mean you're not going to talk to Putin? You want him to say, well, I'm always open for communication. And if he wants to, talk, we're going to talk. And then on the same note, you're going to want presidents to not say things like, oh, Putin just did a great job invading Ukraine. That's brilliant. People are dying over there. I mean, sometimes you want your leader to be able to, communicate properly with the people. And I don't know. And I know, well, that's what the people need. They need this talk. No, actually, they don't. They don't. You want your leader to lead, and leading sometimes being able to communicate properly with your people when asked questions. And we just don't seem to have that control of their talking.
So the guy you're bringing on is researcher and assistant professor at Columbia Med, biomedical informatics, computational neuroimaging, neuroscience, and mental health expert. That's his.
I think
his
that's
title.
what we need, right?
Sure, let's get him. Can he write prescriptions?
I think so. So I've talked to him before, and we went on there, and I reached out to him and said, hey, you want to do this? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. Because it's his specialty. It's what he does. So, and the last conversation we had with him, like I said, about the vax, and he couldn't talk as much about that, but he'd love to talk about this.
We have people in our own chat doubting that Biden's even the president. What the fuck are we doing wrong?
Tell him to click the link. I dare you, click the link. Just one of please. I will be unbelievably nice to you. Would you please click the link? Because I really need to talk to somebody like this and figure out what is going on in your brain. So if you would please click the link. If you're in the chat, this is the opportunity to prove me wrong. Just please click the link and explain how you don't think Biden's president.
Just don't get it. Like, I understand he's got people around him and advisors and people that are pushing him a certain narrative, but he's the man in the office, the real man, not a clone, not an alien, not CGI. He's there, and he's signing off on this shit.
I swear to God, please click the link. I've got to hear this. I've got to. It's like mind-boggling to me when people do this. It's almost like, what? Please explain this to me. Please explain how he's not the president. And it's just like he said, if you think the president's calling all the shots and running absolutely every department in the entire United States, he's not, right? He's not.
I'm literally starting to get worried about how many bridges I drive across on the way home after doing one of these fucking shows. I might have to find a new route. Oh god.
It is scary. Did anybody click the link?
I'm done with this charade. Anybody that believes Biden's running this country. What? What?
Click the link. Are they gone? Did they leave? Because they always say that stuff and then run.
Here it is. You want to play dumb, Yuri? You get it, for we know who's pretending to run the show, a communist-run regime. Okay. Are you one of the ones cheering on Russia, the literal communist regime?
And click the link. Why don't they click a link? Do they need a phone? I'll give you a phone number to call in if you can't click a link. I don't care.
They're not
Just-
going to, no matter how many times we say.
You know what we wanted to do? Me and Will were talking backstage one time, and it's like we want to do a show where we don't even debate people.
A
We just want to
Minecraft
have
pact.
Is that what it's called?
No, that's something different.
Oh, that'd be awesome. We have two people to come on and just debate, and we'll host. Like, I don't even care. You can just two people come on and host. Remember?
I talked to my chat about it once that there's disputes and people want to fight and argue. I'll host it and I'll mediate it, and then everybody can come on and debate. We'll keep it on track, and you guys can settle it on the stream. We'll start an in-house kill stream, and if you got an issue with somebody, you want to fight, you got an argument, come on, I'll host and keep it fair, and we'll even run timers and keep the talking time the same. Like, you get the same amount of speaking time, and we'll go through it and settle it, rather than playing this game of text and hiding and secret accounts and this and that. It'd be a lot easier to settle it that way.
Absolutely. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Game on. I mean, why would they want to do it on different shows? Just come on.
Jesus Christ. I don't.
Oh, we got more people?
You know what to say. No, it's the same ones that just make my eye twitch a little.
Is it? Where is it? Which one?
You had somebody call in. It is, well, let me get my mouse just went dead. So let me use my pen, and I guess I'll go over here and click this. Oh, hold on. Hold on, whoever just called in. I gotta plug up my mouse.
Oh, you didn't charge your mouse? What?
Always end up not charging it, and then or when it runs dead, because I'm. All right, I got the charge.
All right. We have to fire the producer. Who's the producer of this show?
Since I'm the one who produces any good content, it must be me.
Yeah, it must be you then. That's got to be it. I'm just here for the free ride.
How far are you going to ride it?
Well, whatever it takes. You let me know when you're done.
Let's see who we got. Trump is the real something. Hey, what's
That's
up?
the name?
Trump is the real something. Trump is the real.
Trump is the real president.
Yes.
You sound
Unleash.
very disguised voice.
Sure does.
I'm struggling. I
Mhm.
can't do it.
Yeah. It didn't sound like
But-
you could do it.
What I did want to do, you know who it is. What I
Yes.
did want to do is allow you Sage.
I know.
I
But I
would
can't-
like you.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Do it.
I have to do it to somebody who literally believes it. You don't. You
Trump is the real president.
He does
What about
believe it.
de-evolution?
He told me.
De-evolution. De-evolution. Would you like me to explain de-evolution for you?
Yeah. Go ahead and explain it all to me. Break it all down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just have to get some.
Get your notes right quick.
Yeah, I really didn't expect to be called out here. Let's go with
Devolution is when he left office, when he saw that he wasn't going to be president, he actually took the power of the president, eliminated that office, gave the power to the troops, and then they're going to evolve it and they're going to give it back to the president. So right now the military's in charge under Trump's command, or side by side with Trump's command.
Perfect. So who in the military is the president?
The military.
No, who in the military? Like, who
Yes.
makes the decision?
Yeah, what are you, a fucking
No.
owl? Are you an owl? The military. How many licks
No,
to the
Flynn.
center of a Tootsie Pop?
Which
Flynn.
person in the military?
Flynn. Oh, Flynn.
So Flynn's in charge, but is he still in the military?
His brother is. He's in the
Oh,
digital.
brother.
He's in the digital military.
So Flynn's the president.
Digital army. No, Trump's the
No. I thought we were going with devolution.
Trump still the go-to guy. Flynn is with
Mhm.
Flynn and the Kraken.
Whenever he's tied up on a recorded phone call with Lynn Wood, that's the Trump's the
Yeah.
go-to guy. They got to have two. There's two presidents. It's like having two dads.
This information is necessary.
Hmm.
Sage.
Gotcha.
Now,
Yeah.
where were we?
I don't
Trump's
know,
president.
actually, to be completely honest.
I can't even.
Kim, you got one
know.
more comment. You better make it good, or you're getting fucking banned. You've had the option to call in. You're not gonna put that shit in my chat.
Yeah, why Kim? Why
Kim
why
can't
is it
call
always
in.
the keyboard warriors that seem like they're the? I just ban them and say, if you want to come back in, you got to click the link. That's what I do.
Yeah, but we have to change the link so that Johnny guy doesn't call in.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think he's been
Yeah, but
saving it
this
or
is-
something.
Think so? He might be.
I can't bullshit like them.
I know. As I
But
said,
we can talk about some real shit. Would be good.
Sure.
War.
Yeah.
On a big scale, right? I don't believe leaders of the bigger country
Mhm.
benefit from an all-out scale war. There's one not hold back once one is launched. You know what I mean? Once one is launched, the rest aren't going to go, whoa, maybe that was an accident. They're all going to launch. That's the end of the planet. I don't believe that an all-out war is beneficial.
It's not. It's mutual destruction.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's right. Which seems to be where this whole it just doesn't make sense. So that I don't believe that's gonna. This Q thing. I love your passion for this, Sage, especially against Phil. It actually gives me hard on when you go off the way you do against.
I'm
Trust you guys know how much I do not like this. But I don't believe one thing you said. Well, you may have missed it, that it's affecting nothing of real intelligence going to any of them at all, as you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I see your point, and I think maybe it's the possibility of intelligence, the possibility of knowledge and learning and critical thinking in that process. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's affecting that. You know, and here's the perfect thing: if I were to go to them and say, "Look, Nassar is coming. Don't put your kids in school. You don't need to send your kids to school anymore. Just let them stay home because Nassar is coming." Right? Do you think any of them would do it?
Not the ones talking about it the most. No, like they're beta testing.
Yeah.
How it works out for them first, you know?
Right.
The bigger ones aren't going to do it. They're going to pay their tax. They're going to they're getting jabbed, whatever the fuck. They're getting on with it.
Exactly.
They're beta testing, using them.
And this is where, like I said, so it's like deep down, they don't believe it. They don't believe it, and they know it. And this is the problem that, like I said, and you the things that they could be technically working on and learning and paying attention to their kids or being involved and making sure you have to have smart people, right? Kids have to be motivated to be smarter than the kid sitting next to them, because that's how the real world works. But when you wipe out motivation, when you don't give a crap, and teachers aren't involved, parents aren't involved with their kids, and they aren't involved with the teachers and this parent teacher conference and stuff like that, you end up here. And this is why places like China are shutting off the internet for kids playing video games. They're not letting them do this stuff. They're making them focus on school. They're making them do this. Is because they understand the true need for that intelligence. And I just see a lot of people that just to me it's like I said, it's depressing. It's depressing. And I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I sure as hell don't.
No, but you're awake to what's going on in the world. it doesn't take a genius to just use a bit of discernment. It's like it's been turned off, rather than like a lot of these people, it's just common sense gone, just rattling off shit without even
Right.
like same with Jeff B from the start. You see my earlier attempts to fucking him, but fucking it's like the no one questioned him from the minute he came on. When did that happen?
Right, and book girl's in here, right? And as a teacher, right? I don't know if there's any other teachers, but I know book girl. There's no way, and book girl can answer. There's no way she would let her students do any type of report and not cite the information in which they got that stuff, because that's how we're taught.
Exactly.
That's exactly how we're taught. If I say something and I give a report, I'm gonna have to say it's called footnotes or whatever else. I'm like, well, I got this from here. I got this from here. And it almost today I was on, like I said, I was on Tribe, and he's just like, oh, you don't have to show all these receipts. And I'm like, oh my God, this is almost going to break me. I have to show them because it's like, if I say something, I have to show them. So finally he let me start, sharing the screen and showing the stuff like the Budapest memorandum and things like that. It's because that's how I was taught to show information and taught to give information, right? If I'm going to say something, I got to back it up by where I'm getting it from, multiple sources, and then, yada, yada.
You don't have secret sources. This is a different game. We were playing in the big leagues now.
And you have your serotonin.
By the way, this I paused it right here because it says world leaders condemn darkest day since World War II. Did no one tell them about Jan 6? Jan 6 is like 4 9/11s during World War II. This is horrible. Somebody needs to update these world leaders.
Absolutely. And I think the other issue I was going to say is I wouldn't take information from people. If somebody says something like, well, where'd you get that? Can you show me that? What are you talking about? And they don't even ask for that. They just believe it. I mean, they literally can say, I think Phil is truly trying to see how stupid something he can say, how dumb, how unbelievably unrealistic, and see if people will believe it. I truly think he's now playing games with people with some of the stuff.
Not only that, but their followers, Phil and Jeff's followers, will come to me and say, I don't understand how you could attack Phil or Jeff with all they've done for this country. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? No one gives me that fucking respect, assholes. Theirs is made up.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true. And I do blame the internet as a large part of this. I think we have a part of society overestimated what the internet explain this. Without social media, that got shut down. This ends. This narrative ends without social. I mean, I doubt that's going to happen. But if that got shut down outside of the social media, it doesn't exist. Now, what percentage of it besides social media? Still very tiny. You know what I mean? It's just the fact that we're in it as well, because we're calling it out. That time.
A little loud. 30 cal gal paid $10.
I will watch later.
You better. I'm going to be looking for you to watch, honestly. I'll be watching my watch numbers, and if it doesn't go up later, I'm calling you, 30 cal gal. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the donation.
Actually, twice. She has to watch twice.
I'm not downplaying this at all, saying it's dangerous and it's spreading. And I worry about showing this to the outside of social media. I bring others in. So, I've had the idea to sort of show other people, laugh at this bullshit, because it just doesn't come across real to any sane mind. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think the internet has made people's minds a bit over trustworthy on what they're listening to. I don't think they used it, and it is older. It does tend to be an older, bigger group attached to a lot of this fake stuff. And I think they're confused with what it is in total. They trust it too much. They never got to learn it like the Gen X did. We grew up in it. We were before it. We're during it. We're going to be, you know what I mean? I think we are the Gen X is the most beneficial here because we can add both.
Sure.
Whereas the boomers kind of, does that make sense now?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it fools a lot of older people.
Yeah, the internet has become a place for the uneducated to try to educate, right? Yeah, I mean that's basically where we're at, and it is it could be a great tool, but it can also be a very dangerous tool.
They're looking in the wrong places.
Right.
Basically. Yeah.
You're getting an education from the uneducated. Good luck with that.
But they don't understand that anyone can get on here and just talk shit and get away with what they're getting away. If it wasn't real, how are they getting away with this if it's not real? It's kind of the question to them, you know?
That's right.
Because it's true. You'd think they would be fucking pulled up by now, a lot of this shit. A lot of it, and they should be in jail, to be honest. But I think that's where the confusion sets in. Fuck you.
But how do we fix it? How do we keep old people off the internet?
Well, how we fix it is another question. Where this goes, where this ends, how it ends.
Yeah.
To me, the Great Awakening is more people waking. I don't see it as a good Great Awakening. A big majority of these people back to reality. Oh, going to be pretty. I hope there's somewhere between now and then we work it out. But I don't know how much longer. But my point was sort of as a total, I don't think that social media bubble really affected outside. I remember you with your Ukraine friend, he hadn't heard a lot of this shit. They're not hearing this shit outside in reality at all. It's not swaying. It's not swaying anything that importance yet. But it is swaying things domestically, which is a problem.
Right.
And here, I mean, it's doing.
I never thought that. It's just sad to see people cheering on Russia. That's my biggest issue. I never thought this would happen. Like, yeah, go fuck them up. Like, okay, well, people are gonna die that are our allies that we have a pact with to protect, and we're probably gonna lose our own people over there, whether you want war or not. We're gonna lose some people there, casualties, civilians. It's gonna be bad. And they're like, hell yeah, go get them. Get the cabal and the Devil Mountain.
They literally think he's wearing a white hat.
Oh.
But this is why I need to bring on, like I said, Phil can either come on or I can bring on somebody that's going to take a look and we're going to, even the stuff like, 2 million people are watching me. You know what I mean? Where we can show, no, 2 million people are not watching you. And he's going to explain that. And he's going to explain, some of this, the things that he does. And from that point of view, and it's, I think that's the next step. That's what actually needs to happen to these people is that have that out there where a professional looked at him, watched his video and looked at him and, obviously didn't ask questions and give a complete thing on this, but he can basically, discuss that.
But believe it or not, they are doing it on people like Phil. He believes that his world that he created, he believes that he can't lose. Doesn't matter. He will go to jail, hopefully. And he will just say the cabal. The white hats will get me. Actually, his mind doesn't lose what he is. This is created in him. And it's just crazy. Whether he knows it or not, deep down, it doesn't really matter. And he's always winning. That's why there's 2 million viewers. You can physically see there is those. He's not that stupid, but it doesn't matter to him because he can say whatever he wants. Look at that garble he fucking said one day. Tree, plant, motherfucking whatever.
They eat us for dinner. Sorry, they are fucking piranhas.
Those fools who spew love about Putin, not of war and death. It's really sad. No, they know not of war and death. Yeah, it is pretty sad that nobody that's been to war really begs for a war, especially in their homeland, like some of those are saying. It's pretty crazy to think that.
Right off the bat, like I said, they're not somebody that because I asked him, I was like, do you have a gun? He's like, well, no, I don't have one. But they're just handing them out. At one point, if your country comes and says, hey, we're being invaded, and they come to normal citizens and say, here, take this gun, defend your homeland, you can't leave. What? I mean, this is the seriousness of this over there. This is what they're actually doing. And I don't think people truly understand that. And this is where people like Phil, who drop stupid stuff like, get them get them all, get everybody. It's like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? That's demented. That is a problem.
But it's not. I don't believe it's big enough. It's swaying. Bigger thing. You know what I mean? It is, and it pisses me. Oh, I hate what he does. I hate every breath that he breathes. We all know that. We that have seen know that. But I don't believe outside this stage it's swaying enough to be interfering with wars like that. Like, yeah, get angry at it, and we all get angry. But like Sage, you know, you've got friends overseas, and that they don't know who Phil is. He's a nothing in the big scheme. In reality, he's nothing. In the real world of real things. In his little fucking echo chamber, that's why he'll never come on. Outside of it, he's nothing.
Yeah,
he can't. He doesn't exist outside of that world. He just doesn't exist. I've seen what happens when he just gets questioned outside of the narrative. He freaks out, freaks the fuck out, or just blocks. You know, they just.
It's funny watching him panic.
It doesn't mean stop calling him out. Keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it too, but it's a shit.
Well, I don't know. Somebody said that he apologized. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, we got to wait for the replay, but yeah, apparently he apologized.
The replay's up.
I tried to get it, but Rumble's a pain in the ass to fuck
It's in
around
private
with.
chat.
Yeah, I'll just go play it. Let's see here.
He was talking to a PSI lady or something. Something
You might have been talking to the lady I was calling.
talking about. He said, sick of what he.
From an hour ago.
Something
Let's see what happens. Damn.
Just D-Live. You got to fast forward like.
Just 10:35 maybe.
No, he's probably late.
Rough on the eardrum. Yep. Oh, there's still time on the clock. Oh, no, there was.
Ready to see. I know I wasn't ready to see it when I saw it. But it appears as though...
Come on, let's get to start. Phil. God, every player besides YouTube sucks, dude. I have problems with BitChute. I have problems with Twitter. I have problems with every player besides YouTube. And then they're like, why don't you go over here? This sucks.
I was right about everything.
Oh, okay. There's a zero timer. Here we go.
And can you make a little?
Can I press what?
Can you make it a little faster?
It won't be long now when you all start to realize that I was right about everything.
Oh, God.
Thing. It's not me bragging. I've always known I was right. That's for your own vindication for supporting me for as long as you have.
Now, some of the stuff he said was Gasm Newsom would
all get vindicated for what we've been believing in and for what we've been preaching and for what we've been spreading for a very long time. At the end of tonight's show, I'm going to connect a lot of dots for you guys. Leave some unconnected for now. But I think by the end of tonight's show, you're going to see, with your own eyes this time, some very profound material that I don't think anyone is quite ready to see. I know I wasn't ready to see it when I saw it. But it appears as though, as we get closer to the finality of the situation that we're in, it appears as though information that has flowed to me in the past in a different manner is starting to come through much more transparently. And you see what I mean? tonight.
Bump it up some more.
I'm going to have some new shirts on the merch store tomorrow.
Oh.
Just
predicting how right I am. I'm going to have some new merch.
Yeah. Just brush over all of that.
And I think I get emotional. I think everything we've all been through for the last year and a half, everybody has anticipated a definitive outcome because we knew we've been in the dark for so long. And I think finally now that we're approaching the outcome that we've all been hoping for, it's going to feel incredible. I want you all to realize something, and I've said this before, and I want to say it again, and I want everyone to hear me very clearly. You are living in the most influential, arguably the most important period in human history. And you're lucky enough to know it. Most people are living through it, and they don't even know it. You know it.
Sad.
You are living through the Great Reset, but not what the Great Reset was supposed to be. You're living through our Great Reset. You're living through the good guys taking over the plan and turning it around for us, for we the people.
Then why do I need silver?
And your children's children and their children and many generations beyond are all going to sit in history class someday learning about the events that we are witnessing before our eyes.
Werewolves.
They're going to be learning about the time period that you lived through. That's how important what's happening right now in the world is. And not just right now, over the last 5 years. I can't overemphasize enough how important of a time period right now is. Can you feel it? If you've been watching me for a while, listening to me for a while, can you just, can you just feel it in the air?
He probably said the same
It coming in the air tonight. That was the joke.
Feel something.
That was the joke, Sage. You missed it. You can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, no.
I can't do that. I can't do that when we watch Phil. There's no way I could do that. I can't do it.
That
Are
electricity.
you Googling torture weapons, Sage?
That
Yeah.
unusual feeling that isn't there every single day. Because I feel it. I feel it.
Bet.
I feel like there's 100,000 people next to me and behind me and around me. I feel all of the energy of all of those people. Like we share it. I just got goosebumps just even saying that out loud. It can't just be me.
I can't wait till he can feel the inside of a jail cell again. A cot. And a group shower.
Because if it were just I must be nuts.
Must be.
You know what I mean. Now, if you're new to this type of talk, shout out to all the people who are, brand new to the program. Welcome.
Yeah.
The program.
We're approaching 3 million. So get ready, because what we're going to go over tonight is groundbreaking.
What's he going to do when he passes the world population? He's like, there's 11 billion people watching tonight. Must be the Federation out there.
Mars.
We're going to go over all the current events that have happened over the last few days. I had no problems with Streamlabs last night. I couldn't tell you that I wasn't live for the reason that I was going live.
He got busted on that. We reached out to Streamlabs. They weren't down. And now he's got an excuse. Oh, what did it freeze for? Oh,
Did you
God.
call a bit of misdirection as I was told? That's what I did. The last few days for me have been nonstop. Late hours of the night, strange sleeping hours, some really weird locations, and a little bit out of the ordinary. So, I hate canceling lives like that or postponing lives, but it needed to be done. I couldn't just tell you what I was doing, so I called it. Anyway, before we get into too much of the intel part and the current events part, I want to take a minute to apologize.
Uh-oh.
Will.
Oh, shit.
Also known as Cold Beer Condemned. Now, Will is a guy who is a enormous Phil critic, as are a lot, and that's okay. In my last live, I think it was my last live, I accused Will of committing a felony by recording someone's voice without their permission, and he did not do that. He did record somebody without their permission, but it was totally legal in the manner that he did it. Some of the information that I was relayed about the other person that was on the call was not accurate.
He's got to be watching the show. He's got to be watching the show.
He's got to be watching our Monday show.
Now, for every truther that's such as me,
I messaged him on Telegram today, and I basically told him, hang on, I sent you a screenshot, but I'll go back, and he read it, and he said, all right, let me find out what he said. So I basically said, I'm calling you out tonight, big time, and he's like, huh? And I sent him, is this you? And I sent him the screenshot of him saying, a special military operation, Mr. President, get him that, oh, you know,
Vlad.
a hard time with that word. Get every last one of them. I'm like, is this you? He said, yeah. I don't even know what you're saying. I don't even know who you are. And I left it like that. And I know he knows who I am, and I know he knows who you are. But I told him that's the last thing I said. I messaged him at 6 o'clock, 5:59 today. And he did this. But I'm telling you right now, unless he comes on this show, Phil, I am bringing these people on to watch your show. I will find multiple people in the psychiatric department to watch your show with me and critique you.
Well, you got a separate issue. I don't think he's apologizing because you messaged him. I think he's apologizing because he's fucking scared of accusing me of a felony.
I'm just saying I still did it. I don't think I did it. I just think that he accusing you of a felony, correct. But I still messaged him. So he still better come on the show.
He scans that Patriot Channel 2, that other Phil one.
Yeah.
He scans, the Phil Hate Club.
He actually pops in there sometimes and chats. Like he'll send like 5 or 6 messages talking about like trying to defend himself, then he'll disappear for 6 months or whatever. It's crazy.
Each truth
gets a lot of from doing there.
At least one, if not dozens, of critics and other people that keep those truthers in check, as they should. And as I should. I'm not ignorant in the belief to think that everything that I say should be taken as gospel or should be taken as true. I get some things wrong. And mostly what I've gotten wrong so far is timelines. And I think that's because the information that I was being fed was intentionally incorrect. So for that, I accept the criticism. Cold Beer Condemned is a YouTube channel that I wish he would tell more truth and not get caught up in all the rumors about me. But he's a Phil critic, and he'll go there, or if you go there, you'll see him posting a lot of different very terrible videos about me. Terrible in the sense that they don't.
By the way, Miss Blue Moon, I saw you just joined the chat. I'll grab you in a minute. People were asking if you could come on, but let me finish this video and we'll grab you.
Support me at all. They're very anti-Phil. But you guys have to understand something. As I grow, there's going to be a lot more anti-Phil people. What I encourage you all to do is listen to their side of the story, listen to my side of the story, and make your own call as to what you believe. You're free to choose to believe what you want to believe. If you believe me, okay. If you believe them, okay. That's totally.
Is he shouting at my channel?
So,
he is.
My apologies to you, Will. Appears you didn't do anything wrong, although it was shady and sneaky, and I don't really like those kind of tactics.
But was it legal?
But you're free to have your own program, have your own channel, and talk about what you wish, just as I am. So for me in that regard. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep me in check. Keep calling me out on things. I just wish that you and others, not just Will,
he's trying to be friends.
Truth and stay on the criticism portion, anti-Phil, other than the made up.
I'm gonna have my mom call his mom and see if he can come over and play next weekend. I don't know. My dad has to work on Friday, so we have to go to bed early. But after that, Saturday we can go to the park.
It's about your interpretation of things that actually happened, because that's misleading to people. For as much as you say I'm misleading people, a lot of my critics do the same thing to my followers about me. They're doing the same thing they criticize me for. So anyway, let's get on.
Come on the show.
Tell me where you are from, because.
Nice shout out. Actually, let me grab Erica right quick because she said something about he reads a transcript. Let's see if she can tell us where. Hey, what's up, Erica? She might have stepped away. She said he reads a transcript
No, I'm
from.
here.
Oh, okay.
He's there.
Hey,
Hey, what's up?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so he read a transcript, and it was allegedly between Putin and Biden, and it just had a few lines, and it said P, and then it said B, and I mean, you'll see he throws a fit about it, and he's just like hysterically laughing, being over dramatic about it, and
Does he show it on screen?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead and see if I can find it on the screen. You know about what time it was in the video?
It was probably close to. It was middle to end.
Okay.
I mean, you'll see. If you're able to skip, and you'll see like the white. He'll have the white paper on there. But I looked up the Zelensky and Trump phone call just to see how that layout was, and it's completely different than whatever he was given. So I think somebody trolled him with it. I think he thinks it was real.
Or he made it up.
Yeah.
Or he made. I mean, or you made it up.
There's really no telling with him. He is good at acting that his intel is real. I mean, he does a good job of acting. He just doesn't do the research. Like, he couldn't work a message board. He doesn't know anything about the dark web, but had a whole narrative about how he invented a messaging app for it. Like, none of it makes sense because he doesn't do enough research. He should at least know what the dark web is before he starts talking about it, or what a .onion site is. Like, that just blows my mind that he couldn't take 5 minutes to say, how do you get on the dark web? Okay, here's a Wikipedia page that tells us step by step. It's just crazy.
Well, yeah, or even just look at what a transcript between two world leaders looks like.
Sure. Or just stole a transcript and then just changed the text. I mean, that's what he does with his Streamlabs screenshots.
Yeah, there's no telling where he got that from, who he got it from. But it just is mind-boggling that it's the overreaction. The overreaction.
Sure.
The salesman is good at selling his story. That's where it ends.
See if we can find it.
Yeah, it just also there's a part in it you'll see where Putin allegedly says either discuss, but his accent, they spell it discourse. So it's either disclose or so it's just none of it. It's just I can't imagine him really getting trolled and him believing it. I really think he just made it up and he just believes his followers are that stupid because they kind of are.
Yeah. Clearly they are. They wouldn't believe half this shit.
Well, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy watching you guys. My phone's about to die, but love you guys. You did the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, Will does the best. I just sit here.
You guys do the best.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I think I just found it, actually. Here we go.
Okay, so what I could gather from this is that B is Biden and P is Putin. So B starts off by saying, "Good evening, Mr. President." That is Joe Biden talking to Vladimir Putin. Putin then responds, "Good evening." Biden, which is now B2, blurry? Why is it blurry? It shouldn't be blurry. You guys can't see this? Read it. Very distorted. I'm sorry about the quality of it. It came from many of you are on phones. Okay.
Redacted.
Why is it redacted?
It came from redacted.
Good as I could do. Okay. So anyway, from what I gather, and I wasn't given an explanation as to a lot of the finite details here, so I'm going to read this, obviously, and then we'll talk about it after. But B, next to the lines going down the left, 1 through 20, in the second column there, I would think that B is most likely Biden. And I would think that P is most likely, you know what, because I can't stand not seeing myself on the screen. So I just pissed off so many people. I'm just going to make myself really little.
There it is there.
And I'll put it back up, and then
fake laugh again.
Biden, P means Putin, and the numbers next to their initials would obviously be their manner in which they commented. So the chronological order of their comments or their dialogue in this conversation. "Good evening, Mr. President," says Biden to Putin. Putin replies, "Good evening." Biden says, "Now I'm going to try to talk like Biden. Listen, I'd like to speak to you regarding our country's respective positions on Ukraine. Now, I know and here's where it gets interesting for me because this happens a couple times. I just kept rereading this. Putin interrupts him. Putin interrupts him, and he says, "Pardon me, but I have nothing to disclose." Now, when you see SIC, S-I-C, that means that the interpreter, whoever is interpreting this particular conversation, doesn't really know what Putin said. Couldn't understand them. Now, I would think disclose would mean disclose. I don't know. But Putin interrupts him just as he's saying, "Now, I know pardon me, I don't have anything to disclose." I could kind of hear Putin doing that. If you've ever watched Putin's press conferences in the past, it's kind of how he does it. Biden then comes up with B3. This is on line 6 now. Well, now, wait a minute. There are lives at stake here. And, well, it's in everyone's to say that we... And then again, here comes the Putin interruption. Sir. Inaudible. That just means that the transcriber couldn't hear, or there was static or something. I would assume that he says, with respect or in all due respect, you are not the one to make that decision. So decisions, obviously, this is Russian, a Russian talking to an American, so there's going to be a little bit of a language barrier. So you're seeing that with some of the conversation here. Then
I thought sick was only used when it was in text and someone misspelled something. Oh yeah. So it's usually used when someone spells something really wrong, but they want to include the way it was spelled wrong. So like if you spelled president wrong, it would be spelled wrong and then it would say sick after. But how do you spell something wrong when you say it wrong?
Your explanation is correct.
Seems strange.
And trust me, I'm a professional misspeller, so you are absolutely correct.
Yeah, you should have sick tattooed on your forehead.
Then Biden goes on. Now look here. I am the sitting president of the United States of America, and I am certainly in a position of influence of our military and our intelligence department. What we have to do, now that escalations have, and again, the third interruption, which is, to me, it's awesome. I wish I was listening to this. Sir, not to disappoint sick, meaning that, again, the transcriber wasn't exactly sure what he was hearing there, but you are sitting president of nothing.
No, it would say inaudible if he didn't understand what he was saying right there, like it does right here. It wouldn't say sick. Sick was if he was transcribing it from text to text. Like this doesn't make sense that this sick is here. It would just say inaudible. Or it would be misspelled. It would say not to blah blah blah, and he got that sick from text. This is weird.
I laugh every time I read it. You are sitting president. Can you hear Putin telling Biden, you're president of nothing? I just can't. You were saying, Brian.
Madman with a nuclear cache larger than ours is making fun of. This is awesome. I'm excited.
You are sitting president of nothing, and in no positions to influence our world or its doings. Again, he's Vladimir Putin, so he can't really talk like we do, I guess. Now Biden's response to this is, I think, even more bold. Can you imagine just being told, you're being told now, you are sitting president of nothing? What do you say? What would you say? Biden goes, now, that's not regarding influence. We think it has to stop here. Now, if all of us could just, there is none. So that's a better way to say than to stand down immediately. Our conversation now concludes.
Psycho.
I don't believe this at all. So Biden's would either say sick or it would say inaudible, like it just was, or this doesn't make sense at all. I think it was somebody trying to make it look realistic by including that, but it wouldn't have. I don't think it would have went down this way. It doesn't sound. I don't think that Putin's an asshole. He's a smart ass. But he wouldn't have done this on a private call like this. There's nothing for him to gain by trolling him on a private call. There is on social media. There is when they're at the G7 or whatever, but there isn't on a private call. I don't understand this. I don't think it's real. You think it's real, Sage?
No, not at all.
It looks pretty real. Looks like he tried real hard to fake one, basically.
Nothing. And he interrupted him 4 times, and then he hung up on him. No, I can't even with this. So.
That's his bizarre behavior.
So somebody in chat said it reads like fan fiction. That's exactly right. It reads like fan fiction. No, sick doesn't stand for said in conversation. It's actually, I think it's something Latin maybe. I can't remember what it actually stands for. I can look it up, I'm sure, but
in the chat.
It says used in brackets or copied or quoted that appears odd or erroneous to show the word quoted is exactly as it stands in the original. So it's quoting the word exactly as it stands in the original. That the original speech that doesn't make sense. It would say inaudible, garbled transmission, something. I've never seen sick for verbal use. Standard industrial classification is what sick stands for. Maybe no, that's OSHA. That's not it. It is intentionally written so, blah, blah, blah. It's Latin adverb sic, which means so thus in this form. I guess that's what Wikipedia says. Oh, thus is written in this form. Thus is written in this form, sic.
This is what I'm told. It's probably sore. Then what I'm told is that he now refuses to take phone calls from Biden. This is the only phone call that he's taken during his entire presidency. And when Biden has attempted to communicate with him further, he cannot. He's not answering his calls. So.
All right, guys, what do you think?
I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with this is definitely not.
Oh, that's bullshit. I call bullshit. And that's the sign of a guy losing his mind. So
I think he's feeling the pressure. I mean, it sounds worse that I got it sped up, but even when he's not sped up, I think he's feeling the pressure. I think that's why would he, the only reason he apologized is he's afraid I'm going to come after him for saying that I committed a felony. And knowing I didn't commit a felony is the only reason he's apologized. He wants to be friends now. Like this, I think he's feeling the pressure. He doesn't want me busted. I think it would be I think it would be the worst idea in the world. Listen to me closely. It would be a horrible, horrible, horrible idea. The worst idea in the world. I do not condone this or advise this. If everybody hearing my voice right now went to Phil Silver's website and flooded it with fucking appointments to where he can't get to an actual elderly person to take their money. You don't have to record it. You don't have to play it. You don't have to show nobody. Set through an hour-long presentation and flood their fucking phone lines and their appointment books. That would be horrible. I wouldn't do that to anybody. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. That is shitty. You shouldn't do it. But if it did happen, they would never be able to set another appointment and take anybody else's money for a $300 coin worth $25. But whatever.
That's a good point you brought up. If that were to happen, if people were to make those calls and do that, that would be bad. And that's not something that they should not be doing, correct?
They should not be doing that. And do not spread this word or clip this and then put it in the Phil's a Fraud channel. Don't do that either. Don't clip it and post it over there with my consent.
Right.
So you're not advising this, but saying people have free will.
And that might be something he's worried about.
Could be. All right, let me get Miss Blue Moon a link. They were asking to hear from her.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off, guys.
Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Sorry, Sage. I couldn't.
I know. It's okay, buddy. I appreciate your help in getting me through this mental problem I have.
I get it, though. I get it.
I think I'm going to go back to medication.
Me too.
Thanks, buddy.
I do like Johnny's disguise where he's just like, I'm a Trump supporter.
No. See, and here's the thing. I know it wasn't me that did that, but since I also called him out, I really want to see if he'll come on the show or face the scrutiny of a psychiatrist. So It's either the scrutiny of a psychiatrist or come on the show, Phil. Now, he has one other option. If he shouts us out and you get 1 million subscribers, because from all 3 million people. Yeah, no, but 1 million. I'm only asking for 1 million out of 3.
Okay.
I think that would be something he could prove his numbers by doing that. Don't you think?
Sure. Prove you got 3 million by sending me 1 million. That's what we need.
1 million. Just 1 million out of the 3.
Let's see if we can get Miss Blue Moon to talk about what happened last night, and then we'll go from there.
She said she sent me an email and said she would call in just for us. Nobody else. She's done with the internet, but she'll call in for us.
All right.
Flat Earth interviews. Oh, God.
Guys,
let's talk Flat Earth. I'll blow your minds. It'll be the highest viewed show you've ever had. You want to invite me again. Event 1 does. Hit me up if you want to discuss. You can just book me for a show here from David Weiss, a.k.a. Flat Earth Dave.
Flat Earth Dave, 100%. We're going to bring him on, and then we're going to hook up with the other professor, and we're going to let them two debate on this channel.
Sneak in Professor Dave in the background.
Yes.
I heard Miss Blue Moon join. Let me grab her. Hey, what's up, Miss Blue Moon?
Hi, guys.
Hey.
We were talking earlier about what happened last night and how they said some really horrible things. How did that get started? Did you just join on your own? Did they tell you to join? What happened?
Well, actually, a couple of people talked me into calling in, and I had been waiting a long time. I wanted to confront Travis, so this is as good a time as any. So I called in, and I let Travis know I'm only here to talk to you. But as anybody could see that watched the video, it didn't go like that.
Yeah, it did.
Well, if you go ahead.
I even heard damn, I can't, Don or whatever, telling you to answer the fucking question, like screaming at you and shit. Like, I was pretty mad when I heard part of it. It wasn't good at all.
Who, if you don't mind me asking, who were the ones that, you don't have to say, you just say, you rather not say, but who are the ones that asked you to call in?
A couple of my friends that are from the chat, because they were tired of this going on and on and on. And everybody wants Travis to answer the questions of why is he doing the things that he's doing? You know, not only has he done it to me, now he's turned and done it to David. And David didn't deserve what Travis did. But all I can say is, I know exactly how you feel. But it's like he just goes from one person to another. And it's like nobody understands why he's doing the stuff he's doing.
Yeah. And people were asking me why you even still go to his chat. It's because you still have friends in the chat, right? You go over there to talk to them.
I go to Travis's chat to prove a point that I'm not blocked. And if the things that he accuses me of and the things that they say are true, why am I not blocked? I can still go over there and go in and chat and say hello to everybody. And I do that just so that people know I'm still here and I'm not blocked. Because if what Travis is saying, okay, if that's how he felt, if that was really true, he would have already blocked me like he did Deanna.
Right. And he sounded pretty drunk last night, and I didn't appreciate. And then his daughter comes on and calls you a cancer grifter. Like what the hell was the whole show was horrible. I downloaded it, but I couldn't even stand to watch most of it. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I was pretty traumatized behind it. I had
They
to ask
eat us
somebody.
for dinner. Sorry, they are fucking piranhas.
Somebody just bought 2 6-packs. We love you, Miss Blue Moon. I'll send that over to your Venmo when it comes in. Thank you very much, Libert
Oh,
Sherbert.
thank you, Will.
From
But yeah, I was pretty traumatized after that show last night. It was a shit show, but it's like Travis is all about having an open panel. If you got a problem with him, you could go up there. But just like everybody knows, no, you cannot. If you do not agree with him and agree with their narrative, then they're not going to let you on the panel. And if they do, then they're going to kick you off when you're wrong.
Sure, and then people were interrupting you the entire time you were trying to talk, and no one was muted. And then you butted in when Don was speaking, which it wasn't even his conversation to have. And then instantly you got muted. And I saw you ask Travis that, and he said it's because he thought Don was making a good point, as if you weren't making a good point, so he can mute you. But Don was making a good point, so you get muted. Like that's ridiculous. That's not free speech. That's not everybody talks.
Well, that whole show was a setup because Travis did every bit of that on purpose. That's why he let David, day before, he wouldn't answer a call or a text from David, the same thing he did to. But then he tries to tell people that I wasn't blocked. Yeah, I was, because you could have unblocked me 15 minutes ago, telling me to call you, and I clearly ask you, or what? So you can prove to people your phone rings? Okay, that's not proving anything. You can block and unblock your phone at any time.
Right.
Okay, but he let me and David on the panel last night just so that would happen. That's why he let Don in there. Don was already writing hate stuff in the chat to me, and that's why he let Don up there. Every bit of that was set up down to him turning that video on and then killing the show.
Sure. Yeah, that was he. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it while they were in the middle of their conversation, he suddenly had a video he couldn't find that was playing in the background that no one could speak because there's a video playing loudly in the background, and then he just ended he's like, I'm looking for it, and he just ended the show and never came back. And so he says that he sent all the money. You've been asking for the actual copies of the receipts, not him scrolling through receipts that you can't even read half of them. And then also he said that he said that, oh, I've paid you all your money, but it took quite a bit to get that last little bit of money, didn't it? It took a show. It took people calling him out. The guy that had the flag refused to ship it until you got your money. Isn't all that correct?
That is correct. And if it hadn't have been for you doing your show and calling him out like you did, and the guy saying he wouldn't ship it, I really don't think he would have ever done it. But that wasn't even okay. Like, you put the receipt up there, and it's like I told him. I had called the guy the morning Travis sent me that money and told him he sent it. Before the guy even told me, Travis had a screenshot of the receipt. Okay, so I was being honest about it all. But Travis was asking me questions last night, and then yelling at me when I would try to answer him. Okay, but he's like, uh, do I think he would disrespect me? And another, hell yeah, you would. You have, and everybody had seen it. Who are you trying to fool? But he puts that Venmo receipt up there like that's what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people jumping up saying, I sent Travis money for you. Did you get it? And all I can say is, I don't know nothing about it.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. But Travis doesn't like that answer. He says I accused him of stealing from me. No, I'm answering people honestly. On my Venmo, I have the one from Trump voter that Travis took from me and borrowed, and I didn't even know I had it till
Right.
Travis paid it back and let me know. And then he tells me, do you got a problem with that? Like, what am I going to say? You've already used it, you know?
Yeah, it was
But
a
it's
little
like
late.
Travis doesn't like me. Any answer?
Yeah, it was honestly a sad show. Like I didn't like I figured he would delete it, honestly. I figured he would get rid of it. Between that one and the one where he was really drunk out on the road and started sharing stories that weren't his to share about, about Paul's wife and daughter and about his daughter, and we couldn't even cover it. I was like, "No, I'm not letting them put out someone else's story." And his daughter comes on angry and yelling and screaming and calling everybody out, and she's supposed to be in rehab. Like, nothing good is going on that channel. Not a single good thing. Whether he paid up all of it or not after being pressured from my videos and other people putting pressure on him, nothing good's happening on that channel at all.
No, it really isn't. And it's like it just continues to get worse. And I hadn't even been over there in a while. And when I clicked over there, it was about the stuff that he had done to David. You know, he got donations on that trucker site, like $830, and told David, oh, don't worry about a thing, man. I got you. Don't worry about it. Okay, well, David was out of pocket, all his money there. Travis paid for the room. David paid for his own stuff. And Travis gave him $50 for gas to get back home. And it costed him 300 something dollars just in gas.
Yeah.
But why not be right with the donations? That's what they were made for.
Exactly. I don't know. So it's a bad idea. Just if anybody ever starts a future channel, it's a bad idea to come on and say 100% of all proceeds go to donations, because then when you use them for something, like when you use them for gas or when you have to show your receipts and it's mixed in, apparently Travis uses his Venmo account as also his bank account. So all his other receipts are in there and stuff he had bought. And he's like, well, not that one. That one's fuel. And not this one. This is where I went to the store. And not this. Like the whole thing's a mess. And who knows if you could ever even get to the bottom of it. All he's got to say is, oh, that donation was for me. Oh, no, this one, that one was for you. Because we had someone in our chat saying that donation I sent that Travis is saying was for me and thanked me for it, that was for Miss Blue Moon. And how can you tell now? You know what I mean? His videos are gone. He's already spent it. There was no note attached to it, and he's got it mixed in with his own personal account. That was a setup for something going wrong, even if it was accidentally. I don't believe most of it was, but even if it was a setup for it to go wrong.
I do agree. I agree 100%. But Travis is very smart. He's way smarter than what he lets on. He's tech smart. He can do a lot of stuff. And I was with him for 8 months, being the top mod over there and listening to the stuff that he could do and the stuff that he was doing. And I'm like, but yet you go on your show and you tell people you don't know nothing. You do it.
Sure.
Okay, you got everybody fooled. So yeah.
So someone brought up this up in chat. Someone brought up in chat who even borrows money from a cancer donation. Like, what type of person would say, "Oh, I borrowed your money that you're supposed to use because you have cancer and you're going to treatment"? Like, what type of person even admits to that, says that, does that, even thinks about it? Like, I would never think of, I can hold on to this for 3 days. She won't miss it. She just has cancer, but I need to, I need gas money. That's so strange to me.
The whole thing is strange. It really is. And if I would have knew then what I know now, I would have never had part in that. But it's real sad. It's sad the stuff that Travis does. It's sad the way he runs the show. It's sad the way he lets people get up there and get attacked. And it's sad the way that he lets his daughter go in there and disrespect people, but yet that's his whole reasoning behind taking my ranch. And for all the window lickers in the back of the bus that not in your chat's perfect. But on Travis's chat last night, all those people that was like, all this is about a ranch. No, this is about start to finish. All the bullshit that I have put up with. Travis trying to trash me where I can't even go in anybody else's chat and talk. That's what it's all about. You want to sit and holler respect and loyalty, but yet you let your daughter come up here and straight out call me a bitch? For what? A cancer grifter? For what? I mean, exactly what is she saying there, Will? I'm lying?
I guess that's what she was trying to say. I said it earlier before you got here. I was like, how can you, what are you saying? Like she grifted you out of a wig? Like, I don't know what you're even claiming. What? And of course she'll never answer, but that the whole thing was crazy that she could even have the nerve to say that. She doesn't know you.
And then she asked me if I was miserable. Why would I be miserable? I live my life every day. I go to my treatment. And your community has just overwhelmed me with the love and the way that they show up. I swear I've never seen nothing like it in my life. And see, every time I talk about it, it just makes me want to cry because I have never seen a reaction like that, like you and your people have for me. It is overwhelming. And I think this would have been a lot harder on me had it not have been for y'all. But it's amazing who could turn out to cut your throat and who the people are going to have your back. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you never think about it.
Drunk old Don. Look at drunk old Don. Got on there last night yelling at me, telling me the only reason I was on Travis's was to make a video for you that you could cut up and talk about Travis with.
Sure, and we've never communicated in that way or blah blah. Actually, the first time I saw you like taken up for me was probably not intentionally. I mean, you were just trying to enforce the rules because they have a rule where they don't talk about other channels if they're not there to defend themselves. And then the first thing they do at the start of every show is talk about my channel.
They eat us for dinner. Sorry, they are fucking piranhas.
34 6-packs. Thank you for letting Miss Blue Moon tell the world her truth. Don't forget. Oh, let me read the rest of that. Let me refresh this. But anyways, you were taking up for me because I understand I talk about other channels. I get that. That's what I do. But if you're going to come on and say we don't, and then talk about my channel every time, and you would say, hey, I thought we didn't talk about channels that weren't here. It started off with hypocrisy, and it's still full of hypocrisy. That's all it is.
That's the same way his whole conversation was last night. Like he would say one thing and then turn around and say another. If I would say one thing, he would call me a liar, and so would his daughter. And she was lying down to the point of saying she was there when me and Travis was having certain phone calls. Right. And that was a blatant lie. But it's like, if we're about loyalty and respect, then how's your daughter sitting up here calling people out of their name and saying the things that she's saying? Is that loyalty? Is that respect?
Absolutely.
Where's Travis's loyalty and respect? I modded for him for 8 months. Right. And then he just cut my throat and tried to throw me under the bus like he did with Shane last night. Oh, Miss Blue Moon, let's talk about Shane 187's wrench. Who took his wrench? Okay. Both y'all run a channel. I'm asking both y'all right now. If you decide one of your mods in your chat is wrong and you're going to take her wrench, can one of your other mods take that wrench or can you?
Only I can.
Yeah, my moderators cannot mod or unmod people. Only the person who owns the channel can.
Okay. So Travis was trying to sit up last night and blame me for Shane 187's wrench getting taken. I cannot take his wrench.
No.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't want to take responsibility for anything. He wants to pass it off and make everybody else look bad. By the way, the rest of that donation said, don't forget to check your GoFundMe. I dropped your Venmo and your GoFundMe links when you came on. So someone said, don't forget to check your GoFundMe. I guess they made a donation. That was from Liberate Sherbert, who parades around as Shane Phelps, but it's actually someone else. But That's what his profile picture is. But yeah, I dropped a bunch of your links. Hopefully, you get some more donations to get through your treatment and stuff. That's what it's about. I just can't believe the way they treated y'all.
Okay, let me ask you this, Will. First, I want to say thank you for dropping my links, and thank you, Libert Sherbert, for the donation. I love you guys. Okay, but let me ask you this. Okay, like when a person runs a channel, they're the only ones that can kick people off the panel, right?
Well, so you can assign like Sage on my channel and on his, I have him assigned as a team member. So if Travis knows how to do that, which you have to send an email, then they have to respond to the email to get signed up as a team member, then they can kick people as well. But you can only have 2 people total, unless you pay for the like $100 a month package. You can only have 2 people total. That'd be you and one other person.
Okay, so it would be fair to say when people get kicked off of Travis's panel, like Dory Bory and other people that he told me that he kicked off on the conversation after the show, okay, but it's like it makes no sense when you take people's wrenches and do all that. And like last night, he said he never has kicked nobody off the panel.
Yeah, I heard
And
that.
I'm like,
He kicked Sage off.
he just tells one lie after another.
Yeah. He kicked Sage off while they were doing that because everybody left and Sage said, I guess it's my show now. And he come back and said, oh, you're going to say it's your show. I'll show you. I'll get you kicked off. It was a mess. But yeah, he absolutely kicks people off. He absolutely silences people, takes their wrenches, blocks people, all the things he says he doesn't do. If he says I don't do this, he's literally doing it and just hiding it. It's the exact opposite.
Right. It's almost a Hillary Clinton move.
And you know what? Yeah, that's a fact. Okay, that's just like last night when he came right out and asked me, had he ever disrespected me? Okay, well, I have to be honest.
Right.
And I told him, yes, you have. You've called me a bitch. You have cussed me. And then his daughter want to call me a liar and say she was there during the phone calls. Okay, that was a lie. Okay, but she's like, her dad don't talk like that. He don't talk to women like that. He never disrespects women. Well, okay, if you say you've been married 5 times and you cheated on all 5 of those women, is that not disrespect?
Absolutely. So he's a walking contradiction because when I called in and me and David had an issue because of stuff he had said, after I finished talking to David and he apologized and all that, Travis said, Will, he was drunk. Will, you know I would never sit here and let somebody threaten your family. And I said, Travis, you did last night. You were here last night. It happened on your show last night and you said, well, and then turned off your camera. So don't tell me you would never let anybody threaten my family. That's why I'm here, is because someone did last night while you were on your show. He can't own up to what's actually going on. He wants to be who he thinks he is and tell everybody he is who he thinks he is, not what he actually is.
And that's true. Just like him calling me a liar last night, saying he would never disrespect or cuss a woman and all that. Okay, you didn't call Kim Young a bitch on your panel live just a couple nights ago?
Yeah.
Did anybody see that but me?
I saw it.
But he just constantly contradicts himself. You know, and then you got the stupid window lickers in his chat going for him. Like, you know, saying ugly things to me. Like that angry Ms. girl that I know is a fake profile. Gonna say, oh, Travis, she seems to have a lot of energy to be a cancer patient.
I saw that.
Okay, I didn't say I was almost dead. I've never said that. I get up every day and I do as much as I can.
Sure.
Because people are that ignorant to say things like that.
Let me ask a quick question. You were there for 8 months, and there's been a dramatic change in his show over the 8 months. In regards to how he runs it, what do you think caused the change from how he used to run it to what he's doing now?
On day 16.
So we were kind of talking backstage how Travis went from or no, it was on the show, how Travis went from just everybody comes on here and bullshits to now he wants to be some type of legitimate news source, but he hasn't thrown out all the people who just
They
want to come
eat
on.
us for dinner. Sorry, they are fucking piranhas.
These guys are only happy when slithering and grifting like worms. That's right, Desert Doxies. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the donation. But yeah, he wants to change into a legitimate news station, but he hasn't got rid of the people who just want to come on and talk shit and cause a stir and talk about the money they're going to get. And man, Kathy H is crazy when she comes on there, which I guess Travis is done with her now. I don't know what's going on over there, but it seems like a mess. I'm sorry that you got caught up in it. Like when I heard what they said to you when you called in, like we were all pretty mad. I saw it in Telegram the next morning, and I was trying to download the video, but it took forever. But I did get it.
Yeah. And Travis just sits there and lets her talk to people like that. And then and then you have to wonder, okay, at first you kind of wonder, like, what is wrong with her? It's like I told her, I've never disrespected you. I've never done nothing to. Oh, well, it's all about her dad. Okay, the same dad that was trashing you the other night? Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Okay, but Travis is a grown-ass man. Why let people, why let her come on, and that's going to be a bad look, and talk to people like that? But you're all about respect. You took my wrench because you accused me of disrespecting on day 6, which never happened. But his excuse is, oh, the channel got taken down. Can't get the receipts. Well, why didn't you get them when it happened?
So,
why didn't you get them when you took my wrench?
Absolutely. I wouldn't, just so everybody's clear, I wouldn't let my wife, Mariah, come on here and just start cussing people and attacking people and then let her say, I can do what I want because it's my husband's channel or my husband and Sage's channel. The same way that I don't think that Travis should let his daughter come on there and someone said something about drama and she said, I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's my dad's channel. Well, you can run a channel like that, but don't pretend like it's a free speech channel. Don't pretend like you're going to respect people. Don't pretend like you're not going to talk about people who's not there to defend themselves. Just drop the charade and say, we're going to talk shit. I mean, I do. Like, I understand I talk bad about channels. I cuss. I do all those things. But I don't pretend I'm not going to and then just sneak them in when I get drunk.
Right.
Well, exactly, because Travis needs to practice what he preaches. And if he's going to sit up there and bash people, and so is she, then if you could put it out, you should be able to take it. And that's why I clearly told them last night, oh, what, when I go to speak, am I going to get kicked off here and banned? Okay, I've seen them do that to Sage. I've seen them do it to a lot of people. Okay,
Right.
but they're like, no, go ahead. Okay, but then you've seen what he did with his show.
Yeah.
He had to get away from it because he didn't want the truth told.
Maybe it was another secret hackening that no one can explain. I still have questions about how he got hacked, but he was also making mods, and it was just all of a sudden he didn't have to answer for anything because he got hacked. I think that was all a setup as well. I don't. This whole story is weird, and Travis ends up with a shit ton of money to go on a vacation in North Carolina and get drunk and eat out. Like I don't.
Exactly.
And I want to. I understand too with the wrenches, right? The wrenches. Some people take these wrenches extremely seriously, and it's almost like they're a part of the team there, and they're there to protect the channel, and that's a big deal, right? Like you do, and it was considered a job that you wanted to do a good job at, and when you're just technically fired and you have no idea why you're fired from a position. It doesn't matter if it's a wrench or if it's a pink slip at a job, right? It's like what the hell just happened? And I had to do that with my channel when I went with you. No, just kidding. But I had to bring in some VODs and I had to get rid of some other ones just because it was for the best interest of both me and some of my other mods. And I had some people that took it to heart and stuff like that, but it was still something that had to happen. But the issue with you is that it was like, why was I fired? What did I do? Right. And for me, there was a reason, you know what I mean? I knew that leaving Liberty, it was going to be a helter skelter with the mods that I had. There was a reason for that. But for you, there was no change except for personnel on the thing. And I think that one of the big things people understand is that even just coming and saying, hey, you were one of the lead mods. there was no explanation. He just pulled it and poof, you were gone, right?
That's exactly how it happened. And then when I tried to call him, I was blocked. It kept going straight to voicemail, and I would text him, and he never responded. But he sat up there last night lying, saying I never called or texted him. He'd only had like 2. And anybody who knows or has heard me would know that after that happened, I would definitely call him or text him to find out what's going on. But he told me it was all because I disrespected on day 16.
Sure. Right.
And I've never. I'm like, show me the receipt.
Yes, no
He don't
proof.
have any.
I would like him to answer how. So let's say he gave you every dime you were owed through donations that come in, and people said this is for Miss Blue Moon. Let's say that happened. I would also like him to answer how many times did he get donations, and the text that come along with them said, "Man, Travis, you're a good guy for what you're doing for Miss Blue Moon and these other people." How many times did he get donations that maybe the person wouldn't have donated had he not been putting on what seems to be a charade, running around claiming to be helping everybody out? That would be an interesting question I'd like to see answered.
I do agree with that. Just like Larry and Edna, they're wonderful people. They donated all that merchandise to Travis, and he put it up on the website. But he didn't. Deanna put it on the website and paid for it, but Travis didn't want to pay for it. Well, when Travis did all that to Deanna, she took the website down. Well, she said all Travis had to do was give her the money she'd put into it. He could have it back.
Sure.
Well, Travis ain't even going to do that. He's got all those thousands of dollars of merchandise, and he's not going to do nothing. But he's always selling, oh, it's helping the community. It's all about the children and this and that. You won't even pay $30 to get a website and put it back up that's got all the merchandise on it. But he's always talking about every donation he gets is always for the people. Who has he helped or done anything for anybody since December?
Right. And that
No one.
that was one of my biggest issues is they always like to call me out and say, well, at least I'm doing something for my community. At least I'm doing this. At least I don't need to brag and rub it in your face to prove that I'm doing something. I don't like charity that's done and then you come on and announce it and talk about how good you are and how well you did and how much money you raised. Like, they don't know what I do. I mean, like, I volunteer, I make donations, I do my own thing, but you don't need to know every time I do something good. That's not what it's about. If it was about that, then we would just get in a contest to see who has more money they can donate, and whoever had the highest number wins. But it's not about that. But Travis has to have it out there. We 100% goes to donations. We raised this much. We sent this to this person and this, and we donated to a family, and we did this. That's not right in the first place.
Let me ask real quick also. He had a show for you that he did the donations, correct?
No, he never did the show. They talked about it, and they was going to have a show eventually, but they never had the show.
It kept getting put off. Instead, he just made an announcement that first it was a person from our community that had cancer that needed help, and then they finally said her name, and she got donations through several shows, but they just mentioned her. They were supposed to bring her on for a donation show, and it never happened.
Yeah. And then how long after this whole donation thing started did he pull your reg? Like just before that donation show was supposed to go, or?
Well, the donation show was supposed to go way before the Adopt a Family, and then it rocked from December to January. Okay, and then it was long about the time. Well, it was when on day 16 showed up, and that's just being honest. And then, like for a whole week, I tried to get a hold of him and stuff. And then I finally had to go over to Deanna's show, get the platform to say anything to him.
Right.
So it was whenever on day 16 showed up, and that's just being honest, y'all. I do not know what her and Travis has got going on. I know she's an attention whore. But other than that, I don't know what's going on.
I agree. Like she likes to. I feel like personally that she likes to play like she doesn't want the spotlight, but she definitely wants the spotlight.
Yes.
Oh, she definitely does.
Yes.
I think most people see that. And then when people say in the chat, though, they're banned for being mean or talking shit or whatever. But it just seems like she wants the ruckus. She wants the people talking. She wants everything going on. But then when you give into it, what she wants, the attention, then you get banned for giving her attention. She only wants very specific attention. That's pro on day 16 attention. By the way, chat is screaming, echo, 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 when he came on your show, Sage.
Oh, my God. Dude, yeah, you know what? It was Shane.
Shane
this was
show.
it was Shane's show. Check this out. We were on Shane's show, and me and him were trying to have a conversation, and Deanna came on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Deanna came on, and then he's like, we got to go. And then he left, and then he immediately texted her to leave the show. And I'm like, did he just text you to leave the show? He's like, yeah, but I'm not leaving this show. So he wanted her to leave the show when he left the show because of because I was on the show. And I was like, okay, echo, echo, echo. I'm like, I don't know who's echo. We're all of our mics are off, dude. There's no echo. We're all muted. And he's screaming that echo, echo, echo. That was classic Travis right there. God, I wish I would have clipped that. I might have to go back and see if Shane still has that.
Well, Miss Blue Moon, I felt bad for you. When I just kind of hit on it earlier. Sage did too. I cut him off when he was saying it, but when I first told it, people asked if you could come on, if they could drop your links, and I put your links out there. I'm going to do them again. I sent you something through Venmo, and then I hope you get some more donations. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm sorry for the way they treated you. That was pretty horrible.
Oh, well, I thank you guys. I thank the whole Meat Hammer crew because you guys are awesome. I'm telling you, you have no idea what a difference y'all make in my day. It is amazing. But yeah, Travis and them, that's an awful show and stuff. I don't know how people still even go over there and participate, but that's on them. But I do love you guys, and I do appreciate y'all having me on.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming on.
But I'm going to go now because I got to get up early. I got treatment. They changed it from today to tomorrow.
Oh, your imaginary treatment because you're grifting off of it. I got you.
Yeah. So if y'all hear that, please sorry for me and donate to my cause because I'm going to my imaginary treatment tomorrow.
That's I appreciate you coming on. Have a good day. Have a good night and a good day tomorrow. I hope your treatment goes well.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
See you.
Yep.
Man, that's sad the way they treated her. That was bad.
What though? It seems like if you fake stuff, you get more money. So maybe it's a better opportunity because that's what all these guys do is fake makeup shit and they get money. So I don't know. I don't know which way to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sad the way they peddle and this and that. And look, I mean, okay, they raised money to save America. Did they save America? Well, then they misused those donations because they went and got drunk. They got shitty. They drunk dialed. Travis met a TikToker and recorded him dancing. They went out and tried to pick up women. Then they called people in their community trying to hit them up, trying to get a little bit of pussy or something while they were all shit-faced drunk. And I think fucking Paul got thrown out of his house. Was that worth your $800 worth of donations? Did anybody see it on the national news? Did the governor come out and negotiate with them? Fuck out of here.
And I think even Paul might have had some credit card charges because he was putting his credit card number out there and everything else. So I don't know. I mean, this is the intelligence. This is our leaders. This is our leaders. Everyone, pay attention. These people would lead us to victory.
They said
and keep the White House.
They said Paul didn't give out the last 3 numbers on the back so you can't use it. Yeah, over the phone, but have you never made a burner card, motherfuckers? Somebody can use that in a heartbeat, and it's still up. You don't need the last 3 digits when you got a burner card. Have they ever asked you for the last 3 digits on the back at the store? Nope, it's only over the phone.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Don't do that either.
We should have said that one.
All right, guys.
Oh, man.
I appreciate everybody coming on. Sage, you got anything left besides you're mad?
No, I'm good.
You need
to
rant again?
I'm getting medication. That's it. That's the way to go. Everybody else is on it.
Did you tell everybody that I sent you some medication?
No, I didn't want you to if we should talk about that or not.
I sent Sage some CBC Will's root juice. It cures moles, voles, and sore assholes. So hopefully that works out for you. A little bit of root juice straight from the tap. Mariah actually harvested it.
It actually says it's actually vegan approved, and I can take it up to 3 times a day.
Yeah, Mariah takes it twice a day. So there you go.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Check out Sage News. Check out Faldom. Check me out if you want to. Honestly, I'm kind of getting tired of the subs I have, so don't check me out. It's fine. But we'll see you guys on the next one. This has been the Defiant Discourse Podcast, episode 8. The end of the world. Hope you're black-pilled now. And
Absolutely.
I guess we'll
Absolutely.
see
So
you.
if we're not here Thursday, I don't know. So then again, maybe Phil can't come on next Thursday because we won't be here.
It'll be the end of the world. I think Phil's going to be in Cozumel or Cancun or Venezuela or something by then. We'll see.
Well, are you going with him? You guys are BFFs.
If his mom will let me come over.
She will. You've talked to her.
We don't know about that yet. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. See you guys.